Hey guys, Anthony, 4x4 Diesel. This is going to be a quick video. No, it's not going to be a quick video. It's going to be a quick injector replacement video. Okay, so the deal with this one is it's fairly low Ks. It's a premature problem from people working on it, you know, bending the pipes, letting the dirt in, contamination most likely. Someone's been in there before. But we don't expect too many problems because it's young, it's clean, probably not going to have blow-by, doesn't need compression tests, any of this sort of stuff. So we're going to really zip through it. So I'm not going to do it as a part 1, part 2, part 3. We'll make it all one video. It's a 150 Prado, so it covers a lot of vehicles. The 120s are very similar. The only difference is getting the intercooler off, so you can watch that 20-minute one. I suggest you watch all the videos anyway, because there's different information and perspectives, and a lot more information probably in those. This one, I'm not going to be talking as much crap. I'm just going to get into it. We've pretty well got all the tools laid out, ready to go. We've got a patio heater here with a table. See, I'm doing it already, talking too much. It's the information, it just keeps pouring out. So what you need to do is hit pause, or just go get your drink, your popcorn and whatever, and go back to the start and sit back and relax. So this is a 150 Prado from the start, and I'll just stop it when I get interruptions, whatever. I'll stop it. I'm not even going to edit, and I'm just going to be stop, start, whatever. Right, so first thing we need to do is close the bonnet again, and we need to get those windscreen wipers off. So we're going to double up. We're going to grab the flat blade and 14mm. What can you see? You can see the roof because it's a reflection. Here we go, we'll just quickly take a bit of a look. I'm trying not to move this too much because I've got the tripod set up so that, basically so that it's out of the way so that I can get this job done, because the problem always is things in the way. So you just need a little, like a flat blade, to carefully pop those caps off without scratching those. Usually come off real easy. It's always videos that either make things look easy or hard. And what it is, you can get on, that's it. So 1, 2, and find those. What you can do, you can even just put those, well, I'm going to put them on my shelf where I normally put them behind me. Alright. Crack those 2 14mm nuts loose. Now you might be thinking, well, what are you doing this for? The answer is to make the job easier. Sometimes less is more, sometimes more is less. That can be one of my famous quotes if you want, you know, because there's less is more. Well, there you go, I've got my own quote, more is less, right? It's a bit like, and I'll just sit those up on the roof rack gently. It's a bit like a quote I came up with yesterday. Avoid making the same mistake 3 times by checking 3 times before you do the job. You like that one? Right? However, I haven't got the wording right yet for it, you know. It can be one of those famous quotes. I don't know, I haven't heard anything like it, but... Right, open the bonnet again. Then we need a different flat blade. And we probably need to adjust the camera again. Oh, well, maybe a little bit, hang on. We'll just go over to one side so you can see what I'm doing at one side. You won't see full, I can't get in there with the camera, it's not going to be quick if I... But there's these little clips, you need to push the button on them, right? They're like the ones in these front trims here that I can see someone's already pushed the button on. Get those out, push the center button in, and then it should just lift out. There's one, and you need to reset those by pushing the center back out again. So they're ready to reinstall, which I've done one already. Over this side, doing this side now. Push the center in, screwdriver at the outside, lifted it out. It's already on the shelf. Push the center out. Okay. Then we'll go put the tools on the tool bench so we know where everything we need is. Now we need the big flat blade. Sit the big flat blade there. We need to take these plastic trims out. These ones here, they just sit at the sides, right? You just carefully sort of basically pull them up, and there it is. I don't know if you saw that, but take that off. The key thing is make sure you refit them properly, because if you don't, you'll lose them, and I've heard they're not cheap. I don't know if people have lost them from people doing windscreens. taking this side off as well. So it's just pull it up away from the trim and then a little bit down at the windscreen side. It's pretty straightforward. When I did mine, I don't remember it being difficult or anything like that. Now that big flat blade we had handy, where's it gone? It's here. And we need to press to release these clips one by one. And then once you push in and lift up, it should come up past each clip. Unless for a video it's going to be more difficult than it normally is. 1, 2, doesn't matter too much. You're not going to break anything, is it? You know, it's a Toyota, mate. It's not some cheap plastic thing. It's not a Hyundai, you know. That's a good thing, mate. You've started off with quality. Right, over this side, same thing. Finding that end clip. Push the end one in. Second one, pushing it. Third one came out. It's all ready to lift up now. Let's get a bit of a jiggle. Right, pull this side trim to squash it in a bit like this out of the way. Right, and then this will. Sometimes it's easier. Sometimes it's easier on your own, actually, because two people trying to stick something in between a tight place doesn't always fit. So that, we're going to get rid of that. Up onto the roof rack. Just sit it up there out of the way, doesn't really matter where at this point. As long as it's not damaging the vehicle and it's out of the way of the job. Now, let's refocus things here on the job so that you're going to get most of the picture. I'll get in a bit closer. I reckon that's going to get you most of the picture, except for what I get in the way of, which I try not to, but like I said, I've got to get this thing done, so doing as much as I can to help. Okay, let's get the impact driver, it'll be quicker. Remember, we said quick. This is the quickest way possible without butchering anything best as we possibly can, right? This is, you know, because we can do the slow one that takes, you know, all day and whatever. Just putting a towel over the guard there. We use towels as guard covers because guard covers, they're all just really quite yuck hard material that get dirty and end up scratching guards, you know. They've got magnets in them and all that. It's just crap. You need a towel, mate, you know. You need a proper. So we're going to use the impact driver here and just quickly unzip these two clamps there. Sit that on the tool bench. We've got to undo some plugs. We need my little special little tool. So we're going to undo some plugs. We've got some cold weather here at the moment, so it is quite hard on the fingers. Gloves, I don't like gloves. This car's pretty clean. Gloves are for dirty jobs, absolutely. I normally wear them, I highly recommend them. So we're just going to carefully get all these clips out. Now, I'm not saying I'm the best or anything, you know. I've done probably hundreds of these, whatever, not thousands, but you just need to carefully, I already can't feel what I'm doing. This is what's going to slow things down, right? So one side of that clip's released, I've just got to get to the other side and get it to, the problem is, the main problem is everything's cold. We're dealing with, I don't know what temperature at the moment, but it's too cold, that's for sure. So, heater, what am I doing? Let's get that map filter off. So, we'll use the flat blade that I left there on the bench to get underneath that map filter. Vacuum line, hook it on the end. While you pull with one hand, leave with the other, that comes around. Flat blade in behind the map filter, comes out easy as that. It may be stuck on where it comes out the manifold, so now we've got this wire in the way because I didn't get that off yet. Carefully get that into there, and then that whole unit will come off like that. We'll go pop that on the bench. Grab me a rag as well. Okay, it's up to you if you want to disconnect the battery. We are not going to do that, okay? So it's advisable for a lot of jobs. We're not disconnecting positive wires that are a concern that anything can touch, but I suggest, you know, well, you're going to need a scan tool anyway if you're going to put the compensation codes in, etc., which is what you need to do on this model, the Pilot Loon as well. really. Just pull that vacuum line off there sometimes. Like I said, I'm struggling because I can't feel my fingers already touching all these cold tools, Melbourne winter temperatures. Right, get that clip out, then just pop that back in because you don't need that out. I just got that out. Right, fingers, come back to me. All right, so we've got those plugs off. Next thing we're going to actually do is get a 10mm quarter drive with a short extension. Take this guard off the side of the, can you see my breath? It's just freezing. Careful you don't scratch yourself on all this business here. The way these pipes are quite painful compared to a 120. Right, two 10mm nuts on that guard on the side there. I'm not going to tell you any stories about it. I've told you in other videos now. There's lots of stories in other videos. So I keep saying watch the other videos. If you're watching this video, hopefully you've already got your injector kit. If you're in the VIP group and you're watching this and you haven't got your injector kit yet, one day this might even be on YouTube, whatever. We'll see. We'll see what happens with all that. If you got your injector kit, you're halfway there because you've got all the right parts. We see a lot of problems with, there's hundreds a month of remanufactured injectors, plus other brands, you know, Bailey's and whatever. You can use those if you like, but good luck. And we only recommend using brand new genuine. So we've got that guard off and the two nuts. Right, we'll go put those in a safe place. Put that out of the way. Okay, we already undid these two clamps up here. Let's get this plug off here. So we've got all the plugs off. We need to get this off here, 10mm. Let's lose that extension. Not on the car though, lose it onto the bench. Undo this little bracket here for the vacuum line. Easiest thing to do with that little bolt so you know where it goes and what it is. I'll warn you again, if you can see this, do not lean on the radiator, that little hose on the top of the radiator there, near the battery. This is a mistake people make a lot of the time when they're working on their own vehicles. I've never broken one, I'm quite happy to say. I have helped fix them. There's one R&D one out there at the moment, but we're not telling stories in this video. We're talking about the job. So we're going to undo this intercooler hose. Unfortunately, because of the battery, we can't get the zip in there to zip it. But that clamp's loose enough. We need to get the 12mm. And I will assume that they've done this up so tight. Yep. that won't work. So we'll grab the 12mm on the breaker bar from just here. Like I said, we've got all the tools handy. We're set up to get it done. Trying to get it done swiftly, but like I said, we're not going to, without mistakes. Never any mistakes or damage. If something doesn't feel right, don't do it. Think, stop and think, all right? All right, that should come off now. Bada bing, like that. We're going to place that on the bench. Guys, this is not an E-jar clean. That's why this one's going to be quicker. If you need a video with an intake and E-jar clean, you need to go watch some other videos. This one, just injectors. So this is for the guy that's already done your E-jar. Great. Take this rubber duct, like everything else. Yep, you guessed it. Go and place it in a safe place. Right. What we're going to do, we're going to go one step further and take this throttle body off just to have a look at the E-jar valve. This client has done his own E-jar clean and put the plate in, so we know pretty well what we're going to see, but we're going to look again because that's what we do, because there's always a first time that, oh look how dirty it is, oh my god. No, just joking. Now there's a brown plug on the side here, we've got to unplug that. Definitely, without not busting off that little filter on the side there. Again, can't feel the fingers. I'm over to the heater again for a sec. Oh. So if you're in sunny Queensland, you'll be quicker than me because you don't have to do that. Now I can feel the fingers again. few scratch marks in around here, definitely. I don't know who's worked on it, but this brown plug can be a bit difficult. You've got to make sure you're on the plug properly. Now what I'm going to do, because of the finger problem, I'm going to just use this yellow screwdriver to push once I've pressed the little tab. Actually, I'm going to go one better than that. So if you're lucky, you just squeeze the brown tab and you can actually see from this side here the little tab that pressing that you can't see on, but I'm directing. Pressing on the back of the tab, you can see that little thing that releases here, right? And I'm doing that with my little tool now. So what I'm going to do is put the big screwdriver down. Actually, what we'll do first is get our hand around on the plug lock as if we can pull it off, and then I'm going to release that tab 100% with this, and then pull, and off she comes, right? So a couple of different ways to do things there. You can press the tab, or you can press the tab and use the screwdriver to push the plug carefully, or you can use the other little tool to release the tab and use your hand to press the tab, or whatever, right? You figure it out, but be careful, don't bust it, do it all gently. Right, these wires, that's about as far as we need to take off for the injectors, so we'll just carefully, gently tuck these wires down here out of the way, because when there's too much stuff going on, it does your head in. So we're just going to tuck that wiring loop just behind that second pipe there, so it's all well out of the way, you wouldn't even know it's there. This fuel filter hose, we're just going to tuck it in. Well, we're not going to tuck it in beyond the power steering pump because it's about to get removed. We're going to tuck this intercooler hose, bend it, tuck it under the radiator hose for now, so that nothing that we don't know about falls in there. And we want to get this power steering out of its little holder, and quite often you need something. I get into the clip behind it and just release the clip a little bit while I pull upwards on it, so that it comes out easy like that. Because this is going to, I like to bring it forward and tuck it down if we can, kind of like that for now. Right, now as I said, if you're cleaning your jars and putting plates in and stuff like that, it's going to create a fair bit more work, not just the removing and the cleaning, but you know, you've got to move this stuff back over there to get down here to get to where the plate goes and all that sort of thing. We're just taking that clip off those hoses there. Don't forget to put that back later. We'll go put that on the bench. Excuse me. At the end of the day, as you take it off, go put it on your bench or whatever you've got set up nice and neatly, the furthest away as it comes off. That way you're building parts up. The further in you go, the closer the parts get to you, and then when you put it back together, you go for the closest parts and work your way further away, and it should be in that order. That's how I roll. Let's get this throttle body off. Let's see how tight that's been done up. I'll just quickly put this on there and see if anything happens. Oh yeah, no, that's good. Good work, Gazza. In case you didn't know this was your car, now you do. Yeah, yours is the rush job. He's going, oh no, if I'd known that, I would have done it myself. I don't want the rush job. That's all good, mate. It's a rush job. To just trying to show you that, look, I couldn't do this any quicker, really. I don't think. Look, the Hiluxes are easier to work on. This thing's high, and it's a 150. It's up there. They're a bit of a pain. A bit tight there, but tight's better than loose. That one too. So off we go to get that jam extension, and see what I mean, you know, just adds time when things are over tightened, if you know what I mean. So you just got to double handle everything. Right. Right. I'm expecting an assistant to be helping me with this one, so he'll come in. Let's see if he ever notices the video is rolling. I'll go put those 4 nuts and bolts in my right hand. Take this off with my left hand. Come on, mate. I wanted the gasket too, but anyway, get the gasket too. Let's go. All right, nice and clean, beautiful. Nuts and bolts dumped on the bench. Right, now what would you like? Some light. Okay, I'll completely agree. Here we go. How about that? Or that? That? We'll go for that for now, that way it'll last longer. We'll place him there. How about that? What do we got? It's a fair bit of light, that looks pretty good. Yeah, sorry mate, yeah. Quickly take a phone call. Hello, this is Anthony. Good, yourself? Yep. Okay, no worries. You guys all still open that, yeah? Yep, cool. No worries. Alright, just give me a bell then. Too easy. Alright. Alright, thanks. Bye. All good, all good. See, little interruptions, but it only took what, 30 seconds? Okay, the problem is, where were we? Look, we got this off, I just want to give that a bit of wipe. You're always going to get a little bit of oil. I'm just going to take a look in there with that light and confirm. The E-jar valve is still alloy in colour. Look, this is what I'm going to do. This is how we roll. We're not that technologically advanced, but okay, flash on. Show you how we roll. We'll see if we can insert a photo of that. Let me have a look at the photo, see if it's any good. I can't see nothing, mate. It's terrible. See, this is what I mean. How much time do we spend? We're trying to light it up with this. Get it in there a bit closer. Anyway, we'll see what happens. I can tell you it's clean. Got to have some trust, guys. Right? Customer clean that and put the plate in there. He's happy. Happy days. It works. Bada bing. Right, now, we don't need to take any more of that off, but we do need to take this side plate off. So we're going to get a bit large flat blade and take those two vacuum lines at the top off. Okay, these, we were talking about these fuel lines before. I'm going to unhook the side of the clamp, the large one, off the heater hose and bend it around towards the power steering. I'm going to disconnect these two clamps from each other. One hose I'm going to tuck down the side of the injector drive. That's what this is, the injector drive, and that hose there. We're going to be a bit what looks rough, but it's a fuel hose, it'll be fine. And we're going to bend that down around backwards so it's out of the way. You need to make room to work in here, guys, and that's what we're doing. We can't get these hoses out of the way without making a mess of water, which is going to risk contamination of the fuel system. The pink and the yellow come off. Tuck those down a little bit down there. Be careful of those when you're changing your oil filter. Now we've got those off. We need the 12mm again on the 3/8 ratchet. Alright, so I'm warming up just nicely, I've got to tell you. Almost ready to take the bloody, you know, we're in about 5 degrees or something, 6 degrees I reckon. Almost ready to take this jacket or jumper off. So again, you can't get any fast tools in there. There's no fast way to do it. Don't expect you, look, if you're good, you'll get it done quicker than me, of course, because I'm not the fastest or the best or anything. I'm just the person that's out there, putting it out there, trying to help. I do okay. I'm sure there's people that are better than me. There's people out there that keep going on about trying to say that they train me, mate. You can't train me what I do. It's just a natural ability. It's just the way it is, you know what I mean? Most of what I do, it's self-taught, because most people, they can teach you the basics, or they can try to, and I'd suggest there's probably better ways to do that as well. You know, basic engine, inlet, compression, power exhaust, you know, basics. But once you understand the basics, then you can interpret that and make it work on any vehicle. If you're smart, you know, the old common sense, uncommon sense, and that's what we do. We're basically self-taught on everything we do by gathering information and practice. There's that side unit, one bolt's in there. I'm going to sit those other 2 bolts in it on the bench so you know where the bolts go. I know where the bolts go. Alright, that allows us to get number 4 fuel pipe out. Now while we're around this side with that tool in hand, we'll take the top bolt out of the inlet manifold stay, which is hidden just slightly under this actuator here. Now the problem is you need to give that a bit of a hit to crack it loose, and you're right near there, so risk of hitting your knuckles on the edge of those clamps. So look, be careful, or do what you got to do, or don't be lazy like me and go get an extension or something. Right, finger tight. I'm going to put, always I put it to the socket because the socket holds it better and it gives me that extension and grip. You just got to keep your pressure onto it so that it doesn't come off and you drop it. Right, there's that top bolt. I know where it goes, so I'm going to go and place it on the bench. If it helps you, it's got 2 little dots on the top. Now, we need the extension in the socket that was on the, so we need a tool that looks around about like that. We usually need a light, and you need to put your arm down the back here near the starter motor, underneath the wiring loom, find the bottom of that stay, the bracket. You probably see my big fat head, and that's it, I'm describing it to you. Bottom of the stay, left hand to hold that extension on so it doesn't slip up. Pulling up, crack it loose, pop the ratchet off. I've got clamps digging into my arm. Alright, back out of there. Swap hands, undo that a few turns. Do not take it all the way out is my advice. And now we've got another phone call. I'll just go and have a quick look and see who it is. If it's important, I'll take it. Yes, mate? Oh yeah, sorry, I'll be there in 1 sec. Sorry guys, Alpha can't get in, I'll go over the gate back in 1 sec. Alright, so it didn't take long. Hopefully you just had a minute to adjust whatever you had to adjust. Alright, where were we? That's the problem, so you get distracted now. So this stay down here is loose. We need to take the vacuum line off the actuator. Right, which often a flat blade and just a, like that's the go. Right. And that allows that to move around so you can get to the fuel lines, which is what we need to do. You can actually pull it out and move it forward, which is your best bet, because then you can get to number 1 and 2 at this side and 3 and 4 behind it. Those 2 vacuum lines, the pink and the yellow, you can just leave them flopping wherever. While we're around that side, we're going to put that short extension back on the quarter drive. Most of all this happens with quarter drive or 3/8. Yep, I'm breathing, mate. I'm telling you, I'm moving, trying to get it done quick for you. What was I going to do? We're going to take the bolt out of number 4 fuel clamp. Oh, and it wasn't very tight either, so definitely someone's been in there. Take that out by hand. That's the clamp in number 4 fuel pipe. Okay, I'm just going to place that up here on the plastic for a second. I don't like doing that because that's how you lose things. Then there's 2 10mm on the clamps that hold number 1, 2 and 3 fuel pipe. Right, now someone's had these out before and over tightened it. That's why the whole studs come out, so of course you need to put that in the vise, as I've demonstrated in other videos. Oh, we've got 2 of them like that. Now the risk is if you take them both out, that the flat plate of the clamp drops. So over to the vise we go now with the impact driver, with the 10mm on the end of it. I'm not going to show you, I'll describe what I'm doing, I'm not far away. Like I said, well set up, so the stud goes in the vise, nice and tight. Impact driver takes the nut off. Bang, bang, done. See, quick as that. Right, now we're going to put this stud back in now. So these clamps, because there's a clamp on the front and the back of the fuel lines, and if they all come out, then the back one, it might fall and we lose it. We just want the back one to stay there, just like we wanted the studs to stay there, okay? So now that that stud's just finger tight, we can take the other one out. So I haven't explained it that quick and well. This one, we're going to do the same thing with that. You saw how quick it was with just a sec to get those done. Fix everything as we go, right? Doesn't take much over tightening of those for the nut to pick up the... Just put that bolt from number 4 clamp over here on my bench as well. Okay, there's the stud again. We're going to sit those studs in, just finger tight for now, because while the clamp's in the way, it is difficult to get to tightening them up. So now we're going to take that outer part of the clamp. Sometimes it sticks to the back part. Now I've got my helper here, his name is Johnny. I'd like to introduce him by voice only. He may make a comment every now and then. He's just arrived late, so we're going to dock his pay. Normally he's helping me. He certainly knows what he's doing with these jobs, but he's also here for some training. So the majority of his part of this job today is going to be watching to see how we roll, so he can tell me what I'm doing wrong, and perhaps he might learn something from me as well. So he'll be just here helping out a little bit and watching as we go. So just thought I'd let you know that. Now we've got the outside of this clamp off, all right? We can just do these up a bit further. Now it's obvious easy with the fuel lines off, but you might forget. So grab your little grippy tools, vice grips, whatever you're going to use. Don't make a mess of these, but I just get in there, I use these. They're made in USA, Crescent, whatever. Got a set of 3 of them many years ago. They work for me, so I haven't bothered. So I just want to give those a nip up before I forget, because yes, we can forget, and I'd rather not. So, okay, that one's nipped. This one I didn't quite get to. Try and do it the other way. I might have got that one as well, but I'm not sure. I want to be sure. It's only going to take a minute to be sure. Get a good grip, and yep, she's nipped. Right, okay, so fuel line clamps and stay. In case you missed it, mate, you'll have to watch the start of the video. We started this job exactly 32 minutes ago, as you can see, so you're 32 minutes late. You get docked, mate. No, it's all right, mate. We know. Look, I'm going to tell everyone you start at 8, even though you think you start at 9:30. Yeah, it's all good. How's the traffic, mate? All good?
All clear.
Okay. Quickest way for these clamps is to use the impact driver, and also then it stops bending the fuel pipes. How do we know they've been off before? You can see that slight bend in it where they've been slightly over tightened, which is okay. I'm not picking on the over tightening because they need to be tight enough that they don't slide up and down the pipe. But they're meant to be 5 Newton meters. So what we're trying to do is do this all in a 1-part video, quick as we can without making any mistakes. I'm going to put, so I've got 2 fuel line clamps, a flat plate, 2 nuts to go with the flat plate, number 4 fuel line clamp. Over here with the rest of our bits and pieces. Now we've pretty well disconnected everything over this side other than the fuel, crack the fuel pipes, which we'll leave till the last thing. So what we need to do now is we need to get some clamps undone. This can be a bit of a fiddly bit. As I said, I'm going to get the jacket off now because I'm moving and things are warming up. So
Johnny's still cold.
Yeah, it's cold, mate. You stand in front of the heater. Okay, so I'm going to get this. This happens though, I take that off and then I end up putting it back on again. So what I want to do here is carefully release. First thing I want to do, someone's worked on it before, so normally we carefully release these zip ties, but sometimes when people have worked on it before, so it just comes out because they've yanked on it before and the clip's as good as busted anyway. Well, this one's not, but not quite. I can see it's halfway out, actually. Yeah. They've yanked it out before. It's sort of halfway out. Not ideal. I don't do that normally. We just undo the zip tie, but in this case, I can see it's sort of halfway. It's like, yeah, I don't know. It's, you know what I mean? It pulls halfway out. I'm sort of don't want to pull it out, but it's been pulled out before. So I tell you what, we'll do this one the way we do it, so that we've demonstrated the way we do it. Right, so sort of get underneath it a bit, Normally you bring your light down so you can see what you're doing, but I'm going to do it in the dark, and I want to get the little tab that holds the zip tight underneath and release that with one tool. And then this one's going to prove to be a real pain actually, because that's what happens in videos. Let's see what's going to happen, because this wire here is not normally there, and normally I get this screwdriver and push on that while I do that, and then it just comes out, but not going to happen this time, is it? So now it's moved a little bit so we can get the screwdriver into it. Then hopefully, with a bit of luck, this is kind of one of the fiddly parts of the job, if you like. So this is where you need to have your patience before you get to it, or you can just be like everybody else. And you know those quick slap bang jobs we talk about that other places do without naming anyone right at the moment, right? This is what they don't do. They reef your wires off. Give me that light. And you know what? It is a pain. I see why people don't do it. Okay, you just need to get under that little release tab. And once you see you've got that, then you'll be able to just pull. Maybe not. Pull that zip tie out backwards, but it doesn't want to work this time. It's really making it really look hard this time, you know. Release the clip, yep. Get in behind with the thing and out she comes, usually. It's still not, I don't want to play. It's most of the way out. No, it's not. Well, it kind of is. Come on, just come out, would you? Yeah. Right. So that's what we do. We release that zip tie like that, so that we're not going to put it back in at the moment. Undo these injector plugs. Put that light back up here where it belongs. Can't feel the fingers. Release these clamps over here as well. Wrong screwdriver. Instead of be lazy, I'll go and get the right one. Things we do trying to make a short video for you. Oh. Alright, there's one released. And I can see these have been released before. Alright, bada bing, right, they come, release the coolant temperature sensor plug. Normally use my other tool, I'm going to use the wrong tool, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Right, get this up here, don't forget to plug that back in at the end because you put it up here out of the way. You often forget, we need to be able to lift this wiring loom out of the way. Okay. Very difficult to get to that. That's not what we use. We use the 12mm ratchet spur on that bolt there. The back, the wiring loom on top of the E-jar valve, even though we're not doing the E-jar, it's nice and clean because it's already been sorted. See if we can get that. Sorry about the head in the view. Alright. For those that want to know, this one's a bit shorter than the one on the side, and it hasn't got two dots, it's got two little lines opposite each other. Just in case you want to know and refer back to it in the video, because you're not sure which one went where. Bit cold out here, wet nose, got to sort that out. Okay, taking a drink of water. Well, I think what do I need next? What I need next is a long extension, a uni joint, that impact driver with a 10mm on the end, because we've got to take the cover off the cover. This is not the valve cover, it's the insulating cover. So we're going to get to that 10mm over there. Ah, just ripped my hand open, mate. First blood in the uni joint. Nasty. That's going to slow the job down. Look, guys, first blood. Oh, ripped in nicely too. Geez, that could end up on a pause on the video. Normally what I'd do is go wash my hands and then put a band-aid on it. But for this one, we're going to harden up unless blood starts dripping over the car everywhere. Check that, mate. Bit of a blood blister before it. I felt that too. Ouch. You drew first blood. Not good. Not ideal. Get rid of that uni joint. Can you take that and chuck it on the tool bench, please, mate? Okay. I've got a feeling this is going to get messy. That bolt on the bench with the other one, please, mate. That 12mm deep reach. Is there a 12mm deep reach on the bench there, please? Yep. Can you chuck that on the bench, please? And the socket and these two bolts on the bench. Cover off the cover coming off. Starting to get wet in the hand there. I'm going to have to go do something. So we've got a blister there and also mess. Not ideal, is it? So slow down, don't do this. Don't try and do it quick because, can I have the big flat blade please, mate? Don't try and do things quick because you damage yourself or your vehicle or both. And we're not done yet. Just want to loosen this up and get that off. And just twist it around that way. Okay, now we need to get the fuel pipes out of the way, right? So that's everything you have to take off, basically before the fuel pipes. Youch. Going for a band-aid. Yep, there'll be another one soon, but at the moment I'm just going to put one on so we can keep moving. Like a bush repair. Come on, Band-Aid, open up. Mate, I should have got my assistant to open the Band-Aid. What's going on here? Can't even open a Band-Aid. It'd be good if they made them that you could open it. Shit. Imagine in an emergency you want to get a Band-Aid out, but look at it, still doesn't want to come out. Things are getting messy here. Get the nurse. Oh yeah, that seems alright. Off to hospital we go. Alright. That'll do for now. See, quick bush repair, it's all covered up. Now, I don't do that. I just want to say I don't do that. You can go watch all the other videos. We don't do anything like that. This is ridiculous. Now, I'm going to get the big breaker bar, yep, that's the one. No, not the one. Okay, we're going to come around the front and crack the fuel pipes on the top. I'm going to show Johnny how easy it is. It's just so easy, guys, when you've got the right tools at hand. Just so easy. When things go the way they're meant to, no problem. Alright. Alright, all four of those crack loose. How quick and easy was that, eh? Can you please put these four bolts inside the cover, over the cover? Up, so I'll turn it up the other way, obviously. Okay. Crack those loose. Now we need to crack the other ones loose. So we're going to get our other crow's foot. We're going to get our other crow's foot and our... You know what, I'm going to go the long extension this time just to do something different. Right. Right, and we're going to see if this works, right? So we're going to go down to number one. We've got a long extension like that, right? Normally we use a slightly shorter one and it works, but sometimes you've got to extend it for some parts of the job, you see? Now we know why, this one's a bit long, right? So that's why we don't use that one. But we always like to keep retrying other things. And with this one, it's a bit short, so then we add on, we've got another one somewhere, here it is. So this one's a bit short, so we just add on a short one with that one, and you'll find that it comes to a better position. See down there where we can get the ratchet on, but we don't normally use the ratchet because that just makes things hard. So for undoing them, we use the 1/2 inch bar with the 1/2 inch to 3/8 adapter. That way we get in there a lot more leverage, means a lot less fiddling around. We don't like fiddling around. We put it together with a 3/8, but to get some of these components undone, it's a matter of a 1/2 inch bar. It's a bit like taking that front diff plug out, you know, you just use the really big bar and you don't have any problems. Okay, number one, I actually want to get it out of the way so I can get to number two, because as I said in other videos. Can you please, oh it's alright, grab me the 17mm out of the top of the tool trolley there. Just that 17 right there under your hand, yeah, that's the one. Just in case we need it. We don't need it yet, but in case these, look, what I'm trying to demonstrate on this one also is, this is only done under 100,000 Ks, so some people are thinking, oh, well, why? This has got full DLC injectors. This is last of the best, right? And I'm just fixing up this clip because someone pushed this damn clip in and it does my freaking head in. Can people just fit the clips properly, right? Right, what I'm trying to demonstrate here is to check valve clearances every 40 and 80,000 and stuff like that, every 40,000. What they do, you know, at Toyota or wherever, because they haven't got time, they either don't do it or they do this, bend the fuel pipe. And what I'm trying to demonstrate is, see I'm turning this and it's pressing it, watch this, boing, it's a jack in the box, right? See the pipe, it's been bent upwards, and that's with, I've got the other end undone. Imagine if I didn't have the other end, and I've still got to push it down. I've still got to push it down to get it to line up, right? So there's 100% evidence here, it's a jack in the box. You can see how it's springing up, yeah? You're a witness to the situation. You can see, even with the other end of the pipe undone, it's springing, it's not lined up, it's sitting up at the nozzle seal, right? When we put it back together, we'll demonstrate how the new pipe will just line up. And my point is, if the bottom of the, I've already undone the bottom of the pipe, see it's loose. If that wasn't undone, this would spring up even more. Because of the looseness, the pipe being able to move, it's reduced, so it hasn't really given you the full detail, right? But yeah, definitely 100% jack in the box. That's mainly for Gary, so we can see my diagnosis of these pigs wrecking vehicles is correct once again. And this is what I'm sick of, because this is a complete waste of money, waste of time, right? This should not need to be done. These injectors should be in this vehicle for at least another 2 years. They're good injectors. People working on these cars are giving the brand a bad name. You know, there's all these people in all the wrong groups with all the wrong information. Oh yeah, you know, these Toyotas, they're not what they used to be, and all they're carrying on. No, look, a jack in the box. Look, so I'm turning the nut, it's pushing against there. Watch, look at it. Boing, see, jack in the box. Look at it, mate, you know. It's a damn, oh, because we haven't undone that one, right? So look, you can see, you know, you got to push it down, mate, because they just go like this. They go, all right, mate, I'll hold the pipes. You pull the cover off. That's what they do. And then when it's time to put it back on, they just go bend it back down like that. What do you reckon? There's any dirt or anything on these pipes not going in the injectors? 100%, mate. That's what's going on there. Anyway, if you can tell or not, I'm annoyed by this. I don't want to replace your injectors because some fool has contaminated them unnecessarily. If you do this job, if you get the parts from me and follow the procedure, you're on the right track, you put it back together as per factory, and you don't have anything to worry about. You don't need to go in and check your valve clearances every 40,000. Luckily, I can tell you that. Remember what I said at the start? Done hundreds of these, and I can tell you that valve clearances generally don't go out. When do you check them? You check them when you've got to take out and replace your injectors. That's when you check them. Number 2 fuel pipe comes out like that. Can you go lay it on the bench? Just sort of next to the other one. Thanks, mate. And we'll get on to number 3. Right, we won't undo the bottom on that one yet either, so you can see the jack in the box. Well, yeah, not as bad, but it's a jack in the box, whatever. You know. I think we've proven the point about the jack in the box, and that, look, you'd have to send away, look, the injectors, they've probably got some grit and whatever in them, you know what I mean? It's a massive, you know, look at the filtration we're talking, right? 6.5 micron, and here we are, we've got dirt the size of dirt we can see. Like, you can't see 6 micron, you probably can't even see 100 micron, you know? But, well, it's dust, right? It's fine dust. Right? We'll just do number 3 and 4 at the same time. so that we get a bit more efficient. Less talk, more work. Right, like I said, don't try and do it this quick, guys. Take your time. You rush through it, you damage something, you forget something, you'll not notice something. I'm kind of getting it through it a bit quicker because that was the plan. I'm telling you that straight up. I want to get through it quick. I'm well set up for it. Right, I'm going to undo both of those on the common rail. Mate, can you please do me a favour and find in that brown container, the caps, the screw-on ones, 4 red screw-ons, and get the compressed air and give the caps a blowout so they're nice and clean, please, and then bring them over here and then we'll put them on the common rail. Even though you don't need to, we're just going to do it to demonstrate. That's ideally what you should be doing, right? Right, get that pipe out. Number 3 can be a bit of a pain. Right, number 3 can be a bit of a pain, yes, that's correct. Okay. Number 4, so what I'll do, I'll just get them all off. Normally what I'd even do sometimes is, look, if you're going to do a manifold, an E-jar clean, if the caps are going to be off for more than an hour, the pipe's going to be off for more than an hour, cap it up. Now the reason we took this side plate off, because it makes it really easy to get this number 4 fuel pipe out, even though I'm going to make it look hard. Hilux is the easiest to work on, followed by 120s. These are the hardest because they've got those pipes there in the way. Thanks, mate. I've got some caps here. I'm going to put those on. Just loosely. Okay, we're out of caps, guys. We're out of caps. There's a few coming back. Not many people are going to get caps for their things, so what we're going to have to do, because of all the people that didn't send back the caps, is say we're going to have to charge like a core deposit on caps, mate. $100. Will that make you send them back? So if you want red caps from now on, they're $100, and actually you don't get a refund. You get a credit, because I haven't got time to be mucking around sending refunds. You can blame the people that didn't send them back. Like I said, we've done hundreds, we've got thousands, we've got thousands of caps out there. Been doing this for years. Every time we do a set of injectors, we get another set. Every time you do a set, we send you 4, you put them in, then you've got 8, send them back, and we're making caps, right? We should be making caps, but we've got none. So, because you didn't send them back, because of the people around you, the members here that didn't send them back, can't blame everyone. There's a lot of good people that sent them back, but there's even more that didn't do the right thing, unfortunately. Now, there's a $100 deposit, extra payment if you want red caps, and the right people will pay that, I understand, and then at the end of that, you're in credit $100. So when you order it, you're going to need a timing belt kit or front wheel bearings or a Dolphin. You say, hey, I got the injector kit with the red caps, I paid the $100 extra to get the red caps, and I sent them back to you. That's part of the condition as well. You still don't own them, we still need them, and I sent you back 8 because I'm awesome, and I'll go, no worries, bang, I'll take $100 off, whatever your next thing is. So you can remind me about that. We'll do all the pricing and all that, so you make sure you're getting it. There's no rip-offs or anything like that. I don't even want your $100. You forced me to do it, and I've got to put a amount on it that's going to make you send them back. The condition is you've still got to send me back 8 caps. So I'm going to send you 4 to cap your common rail, because you want to do that before you uncap your injectors, right? And then when you finish, you give me those 4 plus those 4. Then I'll always have them for next time, whatever, right? Only people that are paying the 100 that send them back. So you don't send them back, no credit. No, you don't get to send them back later. You get them, send them within. Get your injectors, do your job within a few weeks. We'll give you about a month. If you send them back 6 months or a year later for $100, sorry, bzz, incorrect, not going to work. There you go, guys. That's how we roll. We've got to get firm about these things, a bit like Daniel Andrews should have done with COVID-19. Instead of letting people that are sick go out and exercise, stupidity, and then putting fines in place that nobody's going to pay anyway. Like I said quite clearly, it should be, if you're watching this video years down the track, this is 2020, and if someone's sick, for no reason should anyone that is confirmed sick be going out. They should be staying home, getting food delivery, do your push-ups, sit-ups and bloody squats. I don't care, you don't need to go out to exercise, you're sick, you fool. And if you go out, it should be a $20,000 fine, that's it. And if you don't pay, and an impoundment of your vehicle so you can't drive, right, 30 days, your fine's due in 28. If you don't pay it, we keep your car and sell it. See people go out then. Not going to happen. Anyway, I was talking too much about COVID. I was going off. I'll remove the nozzle. They're what we call the nozzle holder seals. That's what Toyota called the nozzle holder seals, right? Get rid of all the pipe tools out of the way. We don't need any of those now. What do we need? We need to get back to this nasty extension again that ripped my finger open to get to the... Mate, too much talk, I'm getting dry. Where's the 10 mil? Where's the 10 mil hiding? Oh, there it is. Need some water. Fastest proper injector job you've ever seen, guys. Alright, we get down the back here. This time we won't rip our finger open, holding the uni joint at the right spot. And that's the other thing they do, they over tighten the back of these valve covers, which is what cracks them, I believe. Alright, so we're going to get you to grab those two. Get rid of this dangerous uni joint. What a nasty uni joint. It's pretty smooth too. Have a look at it, like, you know. And there's nothing, I think I just got ripped by that. I think it just went beauty. Never been ripped by a uni joint. Well, not never. Not for a long time, let's say. Many years ago. Now, what you got to be aware of when you do this, there's two nuts. The rest of the bolt, they're two nuts. So when you zip these off, you want to make sure when you lift, you don't drop that nut there. Because it never happened to me until it happened. Alright. So I make sure I drop it over the correct side of the bolt. And then I go over it with a magnet. Please help her, magnet. Where it was yesterday. Thanks, mate. Alright. Nut. Bolt. Bolt. Best way, get a good magnet and then you can pick them up. You can fling them around all you like. They're not going to go anywhere, right? And that goes for all the nut, including the one you picked up. Alright, do you want to put all those in a nice pile, safe pile somewhere? Please, apprentice injector replacement expert, that's teaching you what I'm doing wrong today. He's going to be respectful and tell me later when you aren't listening all the things that I've done wrong. Now we've got all the bolts out, I hope so, gently like this, to just crack that seal at the front mainly. Then back around this side, ignore the wiring loom, you just got to work around it, right? And gently with those top solenoid seals, right? You don't need to change those. If they're nice and soft and they're not damaged, you don't need to change them. If they're in your kit and you don't change them, send them back, we'll recycle them, right? Can you take that please, mate? You got it? Yeah, yeah. Beautiful. This gasket, get this gasket off. Again, this is nice and soft, you could probably even recycle that. Probably got replaced when they did the valve clearances. Okay, then what we do, we get our rag, which is this one here, and we look at the engine and we go, my oh my, isn't that clean? That's what you get from doing regular oil changes. Thank you very much. Better for everyone, better for me working on the car, better for the engine. Look at it. Isn't that beautiful? That's what you want, mate.
Clean.
Nice and clean. Give the perimeter a quick wipe. This isn't the final wipe, we're just giving it a wipe to make it look nice and to get any dirt and debris that might be there out of the way. What are we up to? 58 minutes and they're not even out. Jeez, you're hopeless, mate. Absolutely hopeless. There's people on Facebook that says this is a 20-minute job, mate. What am I doing wrong? I don't know why it seems to take me all day with all the, you know, cleaning and the compensation codes and the pilot learn and checking the valve clearances and all these things. I mean, you know, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Very clean engine anyway, that's what you want. They've put a lot of black silicon there we need to clean off, which is a bit of fun and games. And you know, you might want to fast forward when, you might get tempted to fast forward when I'm, you know, doing the cleaning, but you know, you might get some tips and information there. So I don't know I wouldn't be fast forwarding if I was you. I'd be watching it again, and then I'd go watch one of the other videos too. Right, so that's pretty clean. I'm pretty happy with that, how it looks roughly. And since everything's clean, there's no need to go and wash all your injector clamps and your fuel line, and everything's clean. It's best laid out on the bench. Replace the seals and gaskets as it is. Get it done swiftly. Don't have it in a dirty, dusty, windy environment sort of thing, you know what I mean? We'll get that black silicon out of the way. See, the problem with the 150s, the engine is so far back. I'm talking about, that's about 800 from the front of the bull bar to the front of the engine. I think that's the biggest thing with the Hilux. You can stand on the ground and reach the back injector a lot of the time, if they're not high. There's some high Hiluxes, funnily enough. Get that? A high Hilux? It's a high Hilux. All right, so we're going to just adjust down here a bit. I don't know what happened there. Maybe it got bumped. But we'll try and keep that focused in the right spot. Now, I've got this little red screwdriver that I often use to scrape this black silicon off out of the way, because it's not sharp, so it doesn't damage the surface. Not that it would matter, because the RTV is going to seal it anyway, but those big lumps that they put there, excuse my heavy-handed looking grip, but kind of need to get that to control it a little bit. And I'm just going to flick them off the side and they'll fall down and they'll end up where they end up. That's how we roll, okay? Sorry. I'm going to tell you straight, that's what we're going to do. Not too worried about either side of it. Just mainly want to get the surface area where the RTV is going to go. I want to get all that messy stuff they put in out of the way. Yuck, what a mess. I think the other side's even worse too. Right, it's too risky to try and pick it up sometimes, so just flip it down. The engine bay is going to get a wash down afterwards, and you know what, it'll just get washed down full at the bottom. It'll come out your bash plate next time your diff oil gets changed, whatever, no big deal. No smoke and mirrors, right? Just using that screwdriver to clean. Look, it is the job of the RTV to seal it there, so we don't need to worry about it too much, but if you get a big lump of something stuck under the gasket and it's going to sit up, it's going to make the gasket bridge up over the hard bit of RTV, then it won't seal properly. So that's where you just got to be careful. This clamp wants to fall off this hose. Stay on there, you bastard. There you go. Oh, is a bastard a swear word? I think I swore in a video. Nah, but that's not a swear word, it's a thing, isn't it? What's a bastard? It's like a bitch. A bitch is a female dog. A bastard, isn't that? That's someone that's got no boy with no parents or something. I don't know. I got it all wrong, mate. This is, I think someone told me what bastard. They probably told me what it was. How many years ago? I don't know. So I don't remember. Anyway, moving on. Getting this RTV. These big. It's just a mess, guys. I'd love to stop and bring the camera in. That's what we normally do. That's why you watch the other videos. Right, it just needs 4 tiny little dobs, okay, right, and that's why this is all still there, because it didn't do anything. It's overdone. It's done to death, guys. It's just ridiculous, right? There's big blobs on the inside of the gasket, on the outside. It's just an absolute mess. And this isn't the worst, don't get me wrong. Bloody black. Whoa. The compressor switch is here, and guess what? It's not wired to accessories. That just woke you up more than me, I think. Come on. Look at this mess. What's all this for?
Overkill.
I mean, look at it, guys. Look, I'll just give you an idea. There's one bit, If that's not enough, that's still on the same side on the outside of the gasket. Anyway. Not complaining, I'm just saying, unnecessary. Yeah, I am. I'm complaining, aren't I? Of course I'm complaining. Creating work for me. This was meant to be a quick job, right? All they had to do was those little, those little dobs of, little that's what the RTV is for. If you've got some, the ultra grey, the little grey stuff, you just put a tiny little bit over the half moon, the tiniest little dob right there, and right there, and a tiny little dob in each corner over that side. This has got like, you know, a quarter of a tube. No, it's not that bad. It's not one of the worst ones, but it still creates work. And I like to wipe the screwdriver through there and get that oil out in case a bit of rubber or debris fell in there. I'm not saying that it would probably cause any problems, but I'd rather just say clean it out. Alright, so run your screwdriver or whatever you're using. I'm pretty happy with that. It's not the best look, I've got to tell you, because there's a bit of black around. You could get some thinners, you could get some this, you could get some that, and give it a good polish up. But the main thing is, right where the gasket sits is clear of any big lumps. And even the small ones wouldn't matter, but we've even got rid of all the small lumps that sit where the gasket is and either side of it. Like I said, you could spend more time on it. There's things you can spend time on that's just a waste of time, right? And where that gasket sits is clear and clean, we're happy. Right, so next step, we want to get this fuel return on. So back with that, so we'll take that short extension. We'll try this tool. Right, adapter, we need the... On the back one, it's only meant to be 13 Newton meters, but they're always quite tight. So I use the big bar, again, fuel return line. I think I've used one too many somethings, hang on. Sometimes I use the normal socket and the extension, whatever. So the point is I want to get in there and just go, right, and crack that loose like that. Can you take that please, mate? Right, now what we'll do is, while we're at it, I'll get the short 12mm actually. We'll crack all these loose and then we'll get the impact driver. If you can start preparing the impact driver please mate, with the uni joint and the, I'll give you this short 12mm when I'm done with it. Alright, they're 16 and they can feel quite tight as well. Glad I put that band-aid on because I'm feeling the love through it, straight through the band-aid. Alright, they're all cracked loose. With the extension please mate, with that 6-inch extension first. Yeah, I'm huffing puffing a bit, I'm trying to pump it. If you can take this with one hand. And I've got that, thank you. Put the socket on. Right, now just be careful with this guys, don't apply a lot of force to this fuel rail line or you will damage it and then you might want to replace it, and it's not a normal replacement, that's for sure. Right, so you want to just gently kind of, see when nobody's messed with it, it comes off nicely. That's factory mate, you know. Beautiful. This has never been, I'd say these injectors have never been out before, right? So even though the correct procedure for checking valve clearances is to take the valve cover and everything, it's take the injectors out and change the injector seats is the correct procedure, but they don't do that. They just check the valve clearances around the injectors and leave them in place. Now this is the one that might play up, let's see. See if we can get him on there. That's good, so come on. Come on, yep. Can we call it a pass again? There you go, you grab the tool and then I'll take the fuel on, because what we're going to do is, Johnny, if you can come around this side please. Can you reach from there and just hold that up like that? Just like that a little bit for a minute. We don't normally do that, but I'm just going to take this. Oh, I didn't undo all the bolts all the way properly. Just carefully take this out like that. You might hold a rag underneath it for wherever it's going to drip. And place it on the bench. Right, that's your fuel return line off safely. Now we want to zip those injectors, so we're going to get the breaker bar with the adapter still and the same 12mm, so we're using all the same tools. And I'm going to ask Johnny to get ready with the impact driver, because as soon as I crack these loose, now guys, just because we've pulled it apart this quickly, or you might think it's this slowly, you know, if you're Superman, you're better than me, you know, this is probably slow for you. Some people probably think this is fast. Here you go, don't need the extension, thanks. It takes a lot longer to put it back together cleanly and safely, right? So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bang. I'm going to take clamp number 1. This is what I do, right? It's all clean rate. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're not going to clean any of those. They're already clean. They're lubricated by oil. There's little dome washers. You don't need to replace the clamps, the washers, or the bolts. I'm going to lay them out. 4, 3, 2, 1 on our bench. Then back around the front and I'll whip these things out one by one. Right. Hopefully. One bit of a twist and a pull. There's one. I'll be back in a minute after I offload in. One. Two. Correct, and that's how they're going to come out if you do the job as prevention. If you do this job as prevention, that's how they'll come out. If you do it as repair, you could have all sorts of fun and games and headaches, okay? I'm just going to grab another towel. So what I normally do is have another one at the front here. So if we're leaning on this a little bit, it softens the blow on the elbow. That's the only part we don't lean on, right? You know about that, don't you? Never broke one though, have you?
No, never.
Alright, 4 injectors out, right? You want to have a look at them? People go, oh, mine looked really good. Look, it doesn't matter how they look. Of course they look really good. They haven't got blow by, they're just going to... They don't wear on the outside, they wear on the inside. And in this case, one of them will be full of crap or have some gunk somewhere. So what we're going to do now is just use that same clean-ish sort of a rag and give... The reason this engine hasn't been run today is because look, all the oil's settled down to the bottom. It's all cold. We can check the valve clearances. So we suggest parking the vehicle the night before where you're going to work on it. Get started on it the next morning, gives yourself plenty of time. And if you're going to do a manifold or anything like that, it's going to take a lot longer. If it's old and flogged and you could have problems, allow yourself plenty of time. Expect to leave it off the road. Don't rush yourself. And do not do this job till you watch all the injector replacement videos, because I'm giving you different information in every video. This thing's so clean, it's not funny. I love it. This is a real clean one. I love working on clean cars like this, cleaning the engine. Bloody beautiful. Gary, your oil changes have paid off, mate. You're the top VIP, top vehicle, last of the best, 2014, 15. I think this is a 15, if I remember correctly. Injectors are out, guys. How long did it take? There you go, 1 hour and 30 minutes. You've seen it. I've done hundreds. Look, I could probably get it done in an hour, but probably I already ripped myself open doing it in that amount of time. Now, what are we going to do? I'll keep working with this. If you could please assist, sir. I'll just give my helper some instructions. If you can please take this out there. Use those cans of degrees, spray it with brush, give it a good scrub. Yep. Then use the other degreaser brush, get all the oil and shit up, get the razor blade and scrap those bits of silicone there that they mess. These are nice and soft, we don't need to change those, so don't worry about that. Give this a really good clean up. It's good. It got done obviously when they did the main thing is just get a rag and just give it the front there a bit of a clean. That's good. Everything else is good to go. If you want, do you want to see this? Do you want to change the fold washers for me as well? Don't clean nothing, just take it out, take that one off. Your washers, I'll get those fold washers for you. Yep. Alright guys, this is with 2 people, so we've got a helper, so we're going to get it done pretty quick. This is going to be a pretty quick one. Now, one other thing I wanted to say, you get these in the kit, right? You get these little 5 return line gaskets. I'll say it again. There's one bigger one that's for outside the head if you're doing the inlet manifold. Now, If you find one a little bit bent, they're just quite soft. If it's a little bit bent, you know, like that, just bend it back like that. It's going to pull into place. Don't know, you know, if it's bent squash like that, it doesn't matter. Just go like that. It does not matter whatsoever. That's just there to join the two together so it all sits in place. These flat sections, it's copper, it's soft and flexible, it's going to pull into place, squash and seal. You're not going to have any issues if you use a quality torque wrench and follow those torque settings. Search the group for torque settings, injector replacement job. I say it in videos, it's on paperwork. There's your 25 washers, mate. Right, for those, whenever you're ready. I'll leave you with that. I'm going to, you know what I'm doing, I'm going to check the valve clearances and clean the ports, right? So what we'll do first is we'll get a bit of rag, give you a bit of detail here that I probably don't in other videos. I'm going to get a bit of rag and I'm going to use a white rag. I prefer white. And I'm going to cut it into a strip, which I've given this detail before, but you know, whatever. And I'm going to get a dowel. And I'm picking out one of the dowels that someone's put a tech screw into, because I've got a few of them here. Some dowels are coming back, right? If you see this dowel, you'll have to comment on the YouTube video or on the VIP, wherever it is, saying, hey, that's my dowel, the one with the lacquer bands on it, okay? That's the only one that's come back with lacquer bands, right? So 100%. Look, you can put your drill on it or not, right? We never used to. It was someone's idea. We had a bit of a laugh. It was a bit of a joke, but it's actually eventuated to be a good idea, just like the dowel in the first place. Not my idea. I just like it, right? I didn't invent the dowel. I don't need to take credit for things that I didn't do, right? I invented the injector kit. I'll take credit for that. Other companies can copy. They won't do it as good and they won't have the level of customer service we have. And there's no guarantee you're going to get what you get when you purchase from us, including that backup support in these videos. Right, they can even try and do these videos. Well, that'd be good. Then we'll do another brand and then we'll get everyone showing all sorts of videos and all sorts of brands and all the information will be out there, right? See what we're doing, getting that oil out, right? I just want to get, this is a bit like the pre-clean, right? It's all got to come out anyway. I'd rather get it out now, sooner rather than later. The old saying, sooner rather get it out sooner rather than later. So this is not by any means the clean, right? I just want to, I'm going to be turning the engine over and stuff. I don't know. It's like wiping the top of the head. Some people just rip, you know, I guarantee you, anybody else that hasn't thought about it or watched the video, they take the valve cover off and they proceed to take the injectors out. I just like to do that wipe. See, if I'm doing it now, imagine I've got a rag, it's a bit dirty and I'm wiping and there's stuff falling down the ports, you know? We're not doing that, right? We've got a clean rag out for this job, specifically. And all the rubbish, sand or anything that might be on the surface of the head around the edges, it was gone before we pulled out the important parts, mate. Before we opened the fuel system, the fuel return line in. Not that the return matters that much compared to, you know, the inlet side, but, you know, it helps, right? So anyway, back into number 4 again. We just reuse the same rag for the first clean because, look, sometimes you're just going to get another hit the same again, and once it's looking pretty good, you can then go get another rag. And I'll give you the tip, thin rags work best because the dowel is quite tight in the ports in places, so they're looking pretty good. You can go back to number 1, you're right. I'm going to throw that in the bin because I'm not really that happy with it. And I'm going to find another rag that's thinner, and I've found one that's thinner, so that's good. I've got my knife here, nice sharp, no it's not nice and sharp, it's nice and blunt actually. That makes it hard work as well. Alright, so we've cut another one into a strip, right? What I mean when I say strips, like that, right? Strips of rag, I mean, you know, so you can put it over the dowel. Ideally thinner, because you don't want it bunching up at the sides like this because it'll get jammed in there, right? So you need them about 1 to 2 inches wide, your strips. This is about 2.5 inches wide. Let's see how it goes. You know what? I'm going to get the impact driver. Remember, we're meant to be doing it fast, right? I'll show you the fastest way possible to clean these ports. We'll get in here at the front this time. I might be in your way a little bit, but you get that. You can tie your wiring loom. Sometimes we use zip ties and tie it over here out of the way type thing, but you know, whatever. Sometimes you just deal with it, right? See what happens when the rag bunches up? It just gets too tight and it doesn't get to the bottom, right? It barely got to the bottom. So this is the problem, right? Now we're going to reposition and try and do a better job of that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cut that length of rag in half lengthways. It is a bit too long, that might be part of the problem. Right. And that just created us another rag. I can see why the lacquer bands are there. You've probably put the lacquer bands over your rag so the rag doesn't twist. Yeah, good idea. Should we do that? No. I'll show you how I do it. It's about time, right? If you had time, yeah, slow down, put your lacquer bands over it and all that. I just go like that and I twist it. Usually there's not too much. The width is what causes you the problem. There we go. So that stopped spinning anyway, but it did most of the job anyway. This is where, you know, the impact driver, you know, you've got to have nice thin strips of rag made out of thin rag. So I'm going to go back to the hand job, right, and go, yep, I'm happy with that for now, right? We're going to go through these again with carby cleaner directly before we drop the washers down there, right? Right, they're pretty good anyway. Without looking down the port, looking at the rag, I'm telling you, these are pretty damn good. These ports, how clean they are. That one had a bit of oil in it. Right. So what we'll do in a minute, we'll get the mirror ready. Yeah, always a long reach on the 150s, I tell you. Okay, now, going by looking at the rag, those ports are fairly clean. So, I get my mirror, because it's easier than climbing up there, and my light, and I go, I'd put injector seats on the, oh, that one, 2's no good, 3's a mess, and 4's a mess. See, the rag was just too thin, so there you go, fooled me. Give me a damn thin rag. Where's the thin rag today? Needs to be cut in thinner strips maybe. Look, I want to get down number 2 and 3 again at the moment because I'm not happy with the outcome at this stage. I want it cleaner than that. The rag's kind of curling up at the edges. It's been a bit painful because what happens then, it makes it thick, it bunches up thick kind of thing, if you know what I mean. Really damn. It's kind of like a matter of a bit of luck with the rag you get. You need a nice, flat, really thin rag. Pull it nice and tight like that, but you don't really want these wings on the side, you know what I mean? So I try and at least get it to one side, to the edge, like that. Then pull it tight by twisting it around like that. Let's see what happens now. Let's get in there. See if we can get a bit of dirt on this rag, because it's definitely down the ports. Yeah, I think we got it that time. Alright. Next spot. Got it that time too, I think. So there you can see 2. Right. And number 4, see what happens. I reckon. Let me see, what have I got? No, I don't reckon we got down number 4 then. Got 2 and 3, but not 4. So I'm going to go back to 4 again. Okay, let me see. This damn rag must be too thick. I'm going to look down there with the mirror again, see what's going on. It's getting quite annoying. 2's pretty good. 3's average. And 4, we're not getting down there. We need to find another rag. Bloody rubbish. Come on, rubbish rags. Okay, we've got a nice thin pink singlet. Let's see what happens with that. It's not thin enough. Okay, this is green. Let's see how green goes. Green goes. Got a bit of green. Might help if I had a sharper Stanley knife, but I reckon we're onto something here. shake all the fluff off the green rag. Okay, I've got a bit of green rag here. It's a bit big at each end, but in the middle, it's quite thin. It worked out, right? Still got his little wings a little bit, but see, it's kind of like hasn't got much over. I don't know. Let's see, right? This is the thing, right? You got to spend your time getting it nice and tight, wrapped around like that. This is why people get things done so quick, because they don't do this, or they go, no, that's too hard, it's good enough. Yeah, that's getting down there. Thinner rag, that was the go. Let's have a quick look with the light. Like I said, it only needs to be, it's going to be cleaner than what most people, those ports, yeah, pretty good. I reckon you could put injectors in those and get away with them, and we're not. But that's where I want to be. So the light can go back there, the rag can stay there, the ports are cleaning up. Now what we want to do is get a 22mm and a ratchet, half-inch ratchet, and get that onto the crankshaft. And the way we do that is, and put it on clockwise, ready to like do up. At the front here, we're going to move that intercooler hose that we put out of the way because it's now in the way. Right, we need to move that back down a little bit, bend it down a little bit towards the supply pump so we can get our arm in down. And this is difficult. It's going to take you a little bit maybe to get your 22mm and ratchet on the socket, and don't drop the ratchet because it can be a real pain. If it doesn't click on, because I've got a single hex socket, I'll bring it up, turn it a couple of clicks. Couple of clicks. Bang, and now she's on, right? Now we don't need to turn anything. We're looking at our valves. We can check 1, 2, yeah, look. There's a set procedure you put them in to check them. What I don't normally do that, but I want to turn it so that I can check 4 and 4, right? And the 4 I'm going to check at the moment is the front here, the 2 at 3, and the rear at 4. So I'm going to get the feeler gauge. So we've got a number of different feeler gauges. This is just a really quick check because we know it's okay. It hasn't got a catch can to cause problems. It's got a plate to help the problem. It's got clean oil to help the problem, right? And it's only done about 100, so we know they're right, okay? And look, even at higher Ks and everything, they're going to be right. If you've got a catch can, you certainly need to check your valve clearances because, as I've explained, that dry abrasive soot, you've taken the oil out of the system and it just goes through dry and it's wearing the valve seats down, is what we've found and believe. I'll get the quick, easy feeler gauge for a quick, easy check. All we're going to do is check. We know that they open up, okay? We know that they close. They generally don't open up. So we're going to check they're not too tight. And to check they're not too tight, we're going to go for a 0.2 of a millimetre. So let me find that one. Just go that way a little bit, yeah. That's right, take that one. Just, yeah, take it around. Don't stretch it too much. Just behind the door, mate, you know. Bit of noise, mate. They can put up, it's real world, you know. I've got Johnny asking me, you know, he wants to blow the valve cover dry. So, well, mate, you got to do what you got to do, don't you? All right, so we've got a 0.2. The inlet side 0.2. 0.2, it fits beautifully, right? No problem. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, oh, we just checked. 1/4 of our valve clearance was already done. That's how quick it is. So why you wouldn't check it, I don't know, right? There's 0.2. Okay, there's a chance that they can open up. So if you're worried about it, you want to spend a bit more time. So it depends how that fitted for you. If you went, oh, that was really loose, I don't trust that, then open up. So what are they allowed to be? 0.2 to 0.3. So then you can close that. If you want, you can get your 0.3 out. I won't because I know it's not going to be up there. I'm going to get a 0.28, okay? I'm going to go 0.28 in the same ones, and I'm tipping they probably won't fit. No, won't fit, won't fit, won't fit, won't fit, see? Because I already know they're set from factory at about 0.25. So anyway, we've just checked half the inlet valve clearances. Now, the exhausts have got to be 0.35 to 0.45, so they're set up at 0.4. So we're going to get a 0.35 and just make sure it fits. You with me? I hope you get my drift. It's as simple as this. People can make it sound complicated. It's not complicated. So exhaust side, we're going to check the back too, right? Bang, she fits. She fits. Now remember, because of the angle thing, they can be a bit hard to get in there, so you've got to either bend them or allow for the angle a little bit, right? They fit no problem. The 0.35s fit beautiful. I don't normally do this because I know by feel that it's going to be, say, 0.4-ish, just under, but I'm going to go for a point, what do I say they're allowed to be, 0.35 to 4.5, so let's go for a 0.4, I'm not going to go to a 4.5, we're going to go to a 4.3. 4.3 won't fit. Let's have a look. No, not happening. Not happening. See how much easier it is when the injectors are out, you know? That's how it's meant to be done, guys, right? We can teach the Toyota guys as well. I know they didn't teach you in the workshop, they pumped you, I understand, they wanted to get it done quick and all that. The correct procedure, which isn't charged for in the job, because if you charge customers the amount of money it takes to do this job properly, mate, they'd be, you know, can you imagine? This is the problem. People need to understand what's involved in the job. This is why we do what we do, because when you understand and you get the right information, you're happy, we're happy. We can't be not explaining it, charging you less than what we want to do the job right because it takes time, and you're complaining because you don't understand the job and you think you're getting ripped off. No, we explain it, then we can clearly charge the money for the time it takes and the care to do the job properly. This is what businesses need to do anyway. That's another subject, isn't it? So we've checked half our valve clearances, guys, right? We just checked inlet on 1, inlet and exhaust on 3, and exhaust on 4. Then what we do, we turn the engine over. Now try and remember, right? We want to get, when number 1 on exhaust comes up, probably so will both the number 2s and the inlet of number 4. Let's see. Something along those lines anyway. We need the 2 middle ones up. Right, so we're going to keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Not hard, right? Now at this point is a balance of those being up, those 2 being up, and those. They don't have to be pointing to the top, right? You can do that, you're just going to make work for yourself. At that point, get rid of the ratchet because you'll forget and leave it in there. I've done it before, and when you start the car, the damn crankshaft bolt comes undone, and it's got to be over 300 Newton meters. So that's not what you want. Get your ratchet out, don't forget it, okay? This is your warning. Warning, warning, this is why you don't fast forward. You miss these parts, right? Get the damn ratchet out now. Now, back to the valve clearances, right? 0.2 is the minimum. We just want to slip a 0.2 in and make sure that they haven't closed up, even though we know they haven't, right? Bang, beautiful, 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 beautiful. There you go, we've just checked. Oh, wrong side, see? See how you can make a mistake when you rush? Idiot. That's the exhaust side. Let's go back to the inlet side. Beautiful, beautiful, and at the back, beautiful, beautiful. It's not going to be that quick and easy for you guys. I've done this before, I worked it, you know what I mean? Let's go to the exhaust valves. What do we need? We need a 0.35. Let's find a 0.35. 0.35. We just need to make sure, you know, if it's tight, then you know it's getting near the minimum. If you love working on cars, you can then pull your camshafts out and change the buckets and make it even perfect if you like, but there's no need to do that. Back to these front 2 that we accidentally, while we're talking crap, measured the wrong ones. You can see they all fit, none of them are tight, they just fit beautiful. That's valve clearances checked 150%, because all you need to do is make sure they're not closing. That's done 100%. Half of them we've made sure they're not even opening up on us, so let's do that with the other half, and then we're 200% valve clearances checked if you like. So we're going to put a 0.43, see if we can fit a 0.43 on the exhaust ones. No, no, and that's why we don't do it, because we know. No, no, you want to check again? No. 0.43 will not fit on the exhaust, and 0.28 won't fit on the inlets either. Let's go do it. Okay, let's find, what did I just say we're going to find? 0.28. Right. 0.28. Okay, we got him there. Right. No. No, and then the back one's hard to get to with the EJAR valve. They're easy if you do the whole job all at once. No, there you go, guys. Perfect valve clearances. They haven't them closed, they haven't opened. Bada bing, valve clearances checked. How long did that take? 10 minutes, right? But it might take you longer. You got to organise your thing. You got to double check all your numbers, mate. We zip through it. We've done it a few times before. I hope you can tell that. Even though I rip my finger open and make a few other mistakes here or there. If the vehicle hasn't been worked on, it's just a pleasure, because people haven't butchered clips and things, and you just do it the way you normally do it. No jack in the box, no clips that have been pulled and all that, no things that have been over tight and studs coming out, all that sort of thing. Right, we've checked the valve clearances. Okay. We don't need to do a compression test. This engine's beautiful. It's got a clean intake. It's got a plate already in there. There's no issues. Had a knocking noise because of the jack in the box, the contamination. I hope you understand that now. I need a drink. I've been talking too much. Here you go, mate.
Good, mate.
Nice new valve cover gasket. Bit of molly coat on these. Can we get every drop of water? And one other thing, just tip it up, because sometimes a bit of water runs out of this still. More compressed air, please, mate.
Noise.
You definitely need to turn on the compressor. Sorry guys, I'm going to make a bit of noise for a minute, but I'm just going to get some injectors prepared. No, just the switch, mate. Up there. That's all the switch. We don't touch the compressor, just that. That's it. That's all. Bloody beginners, I tell you. Bloody beginners luck. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, using this green rags type thing that we proved work, I'm going to cut a few more strips. And we're going to spray a little bit of carby cleaner. Now, if this had blow by and it was a real mess, we wouldn't be going to carby clean. We'd be cutting up a lot of rags to do a lot of cleaning, a lot of elbow grease. The gloves would be going on. We wouldn't be working like this, sort of keeping our hands more or less clean. The gloves would be on, and it'd be degreaser type stuff. Not spraying it in the holes, always spraying it onto this. And that's what I'm about to do now, because it's finishing touches now. I'm going to spray a little bit of carby cleaner on the end tips of this rag here, and just get that damp, and we're going to give it a polish up in those ports there. Carby cleaner. Alright, so we've got it nice and wet. Right. Okay, going to get another rad. Geez, you're noisy.
Perfect cleaning.
Now people know why I stop videos and restart again, because anyway, at least you've been able to see what I'm doing. I'm going to go through these rags, and I'm going to go through them until I'm happy. This is the actual cleaning, right, you know, where we've got the thin strips of rag, we've got the carby cleaner on the end, and we're just going to keep polishing until we look down. I haven't even looked down there yet. Not interested in looking yet. Remember, before was the pre-clean. This one could be the actual clean. Problem I got now is I got this little green rag and it's just about too thin. It won't even stay there. The blasted thing. I'm allowed to say blasted, aren't I? Let's have a look down the ports and see what they look like. Let's have a look-see. Good enough, but I'm not happy yet. Bit wet from the carby cleaner, I think. That's beautiful. So 1 and 2 are beautiful. Don't get me wrong, the others are fine, they'll do the job, but are we a do the job kind of person? Kind of job? Is this a do? Oh, actually, 4's actually looking good. It might have just had a bit of wetness on it. So we're going to go carby cleaner on this rag one more time down number 3, and then we're going to go dry rag polish down all the other ports, right? So, and can you be quiet, please?
Yes, sir.
Don't give me any of that sir business either, sir. Okay, impact driver. Bit of excitement. Anyway, so it doesn't always work that good, but tell you what, the bottom of the rag's nice and clean, so we're going to move to a clean part of the rag that's got no carby cleaner on it, and we're going to run it through the same bit of rag through all 4 ports, and then have a look at the bottom of the rag. Alright. Struggling today, got to tell you, struggling with this port cleaning rag business. Now, anyone can do this, except for those that shouldn't be. Okay? So if you watch this video and it's a big job and you're feeling out of your depth, then send me that text. Ask in the VIP group first. Say, who have we got in this area? I'd prefer just ask me in the group, then everybody can see it, and then it's answered for next time. You start texting me, you know how busy I am? Busy, too much to do, right? I really can't be answering thousands of people's texts individually. You're going to have to start learning to ask the questions on the groups. The VIP group, you know, it's fairly private. I mean, it's only other people just like you, really, or other great people that are happy to help out. So I'm not happy with that rag. I'm getting unhappy with it. So, you know, I think that dowel is part of the problem. I don't even like the rubber. I'm going to get a clean dowel. There you go. I'm getting a new dowel and a new rag for the final. I want to do like a final polish up. So we've just cut another rag. Strip. Mate, are you watching what's going on here? You see what we're doing here?
Listening.
What am I doing wrong? Well, at least I'm explaining so you can, even the parts you're not watching, you're listening. Right, so this. Hey?
Always go back to the video.
That's it, mate. Yeah, watch the video. Yeah, that's it. I should probably watch my own videos. I might learn something. Might learn how to do better videos. What did I do that for, you idiot? Anyway, yeah. The thing is, it's all time. I'm making the time. It's all part of the service. That's what I said. That's what you get. I think we're a bit cheap. We don't have to put the price up and start making a bit more money out of these injector kits because they come with this information that you don't get anywhere else, and there's other people copied us and selling injector kits dearer than us. So, you know, just sort of leads me to believe must be too cheap. Okay, that's that one. That's good. Even though that rag stayed at the end, that was good. Number 2. That's good. Mate, there's nothing coming out on the end of those rags there. I'll show you myself. Right, you can see the mark there where the rag's squashing all the way into the bottom of the port. Nothing on the bottom, right? Now, what we do then is we get the light again and we triple double check, triple quadruple whatever. That is beautiful, and that is beautiful, beautiful, and beautiful, right? That is spot on, guys. I couldn't do it better if I did it myself. Alright. Get that little bit out of there. Gonna need some tools to put this back together. Where's that little... There, come on. There it is, that's what I was looking for. Alright, I'm just going to tell you what we're doing. Like I said, we're going to keep this rolling live time, bada bing, right? I've got to get 4 injectors out of boxes. Right, so if you've got your injectors, if you're watching the video while you're doing the job, what you can do is go and grab your injectors. They should say 046 or 0460 on them if they're the right ones. I don't think I've sent you the wrong ones yet, have I? It's always the first time, so if it's a 150 Prado, they should be 0460s. Anything from 09 onwards should say that on it, except for the ones that are different to that, right? So we're just cutting those tags open on the boxes, getting the injectors out of 1 box, out of 2 box, out of 3 box, out of 4 box. Now remember, on time we've got someone cleaning the valve cover, preparing all that for us as well, so normally there'd be a lot more time doing the cleaning and that as well, so that's going to save some time. Getting the injectors out of the bubble wrap bag, out of the bubble wrap bag, out of the bubble wrap bag, number 3, out of the bubble wrap bag. Okay, now we're going to get the knife. You can rip them open, or this is the point where if you carefully open the bags, you can put your old injectors into them so they don't make any mess and send them back to me. No need to tape them up, glad wrap them, get crazy with tape. Just put them into the bags that the new ones came out of, the old injectors, after you finish the job, of course. Put the bags aside. And those red caps, please get them all back to me. The crow's foot, the dowel, any good bubble wrap like the bags the injectors just came out of, after you've put them into the bags, put them back in the bags and we can recycle that. So we're getting the injectors out of the bags, the little seating washers out of the bags as well. They're coming out. You'll see those in a moment. I won't be long. Remember, we're doing it as quick as we can for your satisfaction. I know that some people like the longer ones, as I've said. For the people that want the maximum information, go and watch the other videos. Don't just do this one and rush into it. The person that texts me a few days after asking questions and having problems, they're the ones that rush into it. I'm tearing open the bags that have got the little seating washers in them right now, because there's little bags. Show you what they look like. They're in the injector bags, right? Seating washers, that's them. I'm tearing those bags open at the moment. And with clean hands, right, those washers there, Cascade, my hands are good, well, they're pretty good anyway, but we're just going to drop them down the port. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, now what we do is we get that light again, we get the magnet and we see which ones landed flat. 4 didn't, 3 did, 2 did, and 1 did. So number 4 we've got to give a tickle. So we get our little blunt screwdriver, the little blunt red one. Remember I said it doesn't scratch, it hasn't got any sharp corners on it. And we put down number 4 port and we just give it a bit of a jiggle around, and that we give that a tickle. We call that a tickle. Give it a tickle. I want to see that in the comments. I had to give it a tickle, or mine were flat, I didn't have to give it a tickle. And usually, not always, check again, right? Yep, there's a tickle, they look good. Looks good. There, I like to double check, looks good. You know, mistakes, right? Okay, all 4 of them are sitting good. Those holes are ready for injectors. But are the injectors ready for the hole? The injectors, the hole's ready for the injectors, but the injectors might not be ready for the hole. So we really want it where the injectors are ready for the hole and the hole's ready for the injectors as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some lube on the injectors. So the first thing we're going to do now, actually before that, we're going to lay the injectors on the bench and get a nice clear photo of the compensation codes from the top of the injectors, right? So we'll take the red protective off the top of the injector solenoid. We're going to do that. There's like, not red, sorry, bloody telling me the wrong, the white. There's a white protection around the solenoid. I'm going to get a rag and wipe the top so that I can read the numbers clearly. Lay them on bench in order. The order I lay them in, left to right, is like 1 to 4. People ask who's number 1, is number... The front of the engine's always number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? And you read left to right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and same on the front wheel drive. The front's at the left, usually, right? So, we're going to lay the injectors 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the bench. Take a photo, getting in the picture those compensation codes. That's the compensation code, right? You might not be seeing it's blurry, doesn't matter. It's going to be in a picture. You don't need to worry about that. You need to do it. So do it. The good part about this video is you might be able to pause it in places while you're doing it, but right now you might be able to listen to me and listen to all the tips while you're actually doing it, okay? So you're actually getting them out of the bag as well. Giving a wipe, same as me. You might go, oh, you're too fast for me. You might go, you're too slow. Well, this is where you get to learn that everyone works at a different pace. Everyone needs to work at their own pace, like driving and everything else, right? And that's what you do. That's why you've got a pause button, where you can do the rewind, play it again. Doesn't matter if you hear it 3 times. At least you didn't miss it then. Rather hear it 3 times than miss it, wouldn't you? We're nearly up to 2 hours, guys. Look, and I've got a helper here, and I'm pumping it as quick as I can. I'm getting the other camera, the other photo, the phone, whatever you want to call it, taking a photo of those compensation codes. First, I take one photo, right, like this. That way, I know what order they're in. Then I'm going to take one up close. 1, 2, 3, 4. I used to write them down. Writing them down was good, but you know what? This is quicker. And the best part is when you get old, you can look, you can zoom in. You go like this, right? So that one's a bit blurry. That's not the best photo. I might take that one again, but let's have a look at the others, right? So you can just, oh, you can't see it, you know, and you just zoom in, right? You can zoom in and get your numbers. So when you're putting, I'm just going to have a look, make sure I can read all those, right? So the first one's the best. I've got to show you that actually. Look how clear that is. That's the first one, right? Beautiful. That's what you want, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. The last one's a bit blurry. I'm going to delete it as soon as it's the last one, and I'm going to go back to the camera. And I'm going to take another photo of the last one. All right. Come on. Okay, so check your photos, right? Bang. There's your set. There's your 1, there's your 2, there's your 3, there's your 4, and you can double check it by your photo. Got it? Got it. Okay. Now, take the white caps off the bottom of the injectors. So the only caps you're left with are the red ones. Now, did you move your injectors? You don't know what order they're in now? Messed it up? Okay, open your photo, have a look, make sure you got them in order still 1 to 4, and lay them in a place and don't move them. Let's do that now. Okay, so we've got all the white caps off top and bottom. We've got our compensation codes recorded. We've got them laid in order left to right, 1 to 4. Now we're going to get the tube of moly coat and put a little bit of moly coat on the O-ring of the injectors. I don't need to show you that, I'll describe it, right? That's why it's in the kit. There's a number of reasons. There's other things in other videos we haven't included here. The valve cover has washed and dried thoroughly. I don't want 1 drop of water on it. New valve cover gasket. New top solenoid seals only if they've gone hard or if they're damaged. Clean and inspect them. Replace them as necessary. Send back the ones you don't use with the rest of the stuff you send back. We'll recycle them for the next guy. We'll even give you a $10 credit, whatever, right? Doesn't really make a big difference. Don't try and change them if you don't, because they can be hard to change. If they're still soft, you don't need to. If the car's 5, 6, 7 years old, I'd suggest you can do them the second time. If the car's at least 10 and closer to 15 years old, you probably should do them. We put lubricant on the moly coat on those top seals as well. It's in other videos. Okay, so now I'm putting the moly coat on the injectors. On the O-rings, just a little bit. All right, Johnny? Just a little bit like that. All right, we don't need to smother it. 1, 2. Have you done the valve cover yet, or should I do that while I've got my finger lubed up?
Done already.
Done already? Thank you, sir, for your assistance. Okay, putting the lube on the last injector O-ring. I don't care if you put too much, guys. Put too much if you want, I don't care. Just get it on the O-ring. Now, important part coming up. If you don't trust yourself, check that you're putting them in the right place. Remember what I said, left to right. Number 1 was on the left. So we're going to take the one off the left as number 1. We're bringing it over. The red cap's still on. And we're going to sit it in position, right? Without it touching anything, straight in. Right? Might need to give it a wiggle and a jiggle, a little twist, gentle pressure, and wiggling back and forward like that sometimes, because the newer injectors are a tighter fit, which is why it's important to get only brand new, fresh, genuine injectors. Because changes have been made. Number 2, we're going to bring number 2 over. That's the second one from the left, same thing. We don't want to touch it on anything, get it oily, we're just going to go bang, clean, straight in the hole. Right, and then it might just fall straight to the bottom, might need that little gentle pressure on the solenoid with the index finger and a wiggle. We haven't aligned them or anything like that, we'll get to that. Number 3, third from the left. Over she goes. Right, and just give it a little, you can go like that. There's different ways to do things. Right, whatever. This works well though, doesn't it, right? You just got to be, the reason we lube the O-ring so we don't catch it. Now the good news is, even from factory, sometimes the O-ring can get caught up. And when it does, it generally still seals. So don't worry about that. There's nothing else you can do to get these in any smoother or better than that, okay? Unless there is, you can tell me in the comments. Right now. Right, one-handed kind of thing. I don't want to just push it down. I want to go gently like this, gently down and gently wiggle. Gary, you're going to be really happy to know this is one of the most perfect fitting set of injectors. I'm going to give you a bit of bonus information here, guys. It's going to take a couple of minutes, but the older injectors, they were a bit smaller and they used to wobble around in the hole. See these ones, they're not wobbling, right? Now what you get sometimes is, this is what I believe happened. You can't get information out of Denso, but these things don't happen by accident. The injectors used to be sloppy. They all bend when you clamp them down, because the seat's at the bottom, the clamp's at the top. There's no other way it can be, right? It's like, get a broomstick, bury it in the ground, and then start putting the weight on the end of the broomstick, right? I don't know, you got some weights there or something. Put a platform on it and then add the weight. Eventually that broomstick's going to bend one way or the other, and it's going to buckle and it's going to break. I suppose unless you had it 100% true, but you get the picture. I'm trying to paint the picture here, right? Let's say it was fixed at the top. Yeah, look, depending on the strength of it, I'm giving a broomstick as an example because it's not that strong. You add weight to it, it's going to bow out at the side, and eventually it's going to bow more, and then it's going to snap, right? Kaflooey. It's going to explode and go to the ground, right? That's what happens here. It's been clamped at the top. The injector's been clamped down up here. The seat's way down there at the bottom. The injectors bend sideways. Now, the injectors fit tighter now. Now, the problem you got is all the ports in the heads, they all vary as well. So when they did that, they've probably gone and measured a whole heap of heads, probably hundreds or thousands, and they've probably come up with a size, you know, that suits, you know, the lowest common denominator thing, where it will fit in most heads. Some of them are going to be a bit loose. Some of them are going to be, this is absolutely perfect. This car's going to run like a gem because they fit perfect, mate. There's no side play at all whatsoever, right? But they went in nicely as well. That is just absolutely perfect. In perfect engineering, if they could make the ports in their head this size and consistently, and the injectors the same, this is where you're going to get a perfect running engine. Because where the problems are is if you've got an older car with bigger ports in the head, or you've got old stock injectors, or some remanufactured who use injectors up to 20 years old to remanufacture. You've got some really old sloppy injectors there, not to mention other parts in there. That's another story. But look, quality. This is definitely quality setup here. So we've got the injectors sitting in place. We're going to visually line them up the best we can, right? Yeah, you know, that's about there, that's about there, and, you know, that's about there, right? Now, trust me, by eye, doesn't help you a shit. Now, I'm going to tell you one other thing. Over here, what Johnny's done for me, he has replaced those 5 return line washers and fitted the bolts back into that return rail for me, which is awesome. I'm not sure if he's put any oil on them yet. Have you put oil on them or not? I'm going to show him how I put oil on them. I'm going to tell you first. I've shown you in other videos, so go watch the other videos before you do this job. I'm going to put a couple of drops of oil under the head of the bolt so that lubricates under the head of the bolt, so it hopefully doesn't twist that gasket. Sometimes it happens anyway. There's nothing you can do. It only takes a little burr under the bolt. If you had new bolts every time, it probably wouldn't twist, but once they've been used twice, 3 times, 4 times, it's more likely it's going to happen. Did you hear what I said? It might look untidy, but it doesn't matter, okay? So we're going to go put a little bit of oil under those. Right, mate, here's the oil can here. What we do is we try and get it going again. Probably a bit, you know, like a... And then we need to get the oil coming up there now, just a couple of drips like that, enough to get it lubricated like that. Bang, bang. Don't care about a bit of oil in the fuel or in the return line, whatever. The main thing I want is a bit of lubrication, so we do that. All the old parts that we're not going to use, we put here in that hole there. Then what I do is generally I'll put a bit of pressure and I'll spin the bolts in case there is any burrs on the thing. Hopefully it might, you know, take it off. We can't sit here forever doing this and wasting time, especially when we're doing one of these quick jobs, mate, for the quick video. We'll just give them a bit of a spin like that. Alright, we get this ready. It's not going to droop anywhere. Beautiful. The bolts are sitting in place. To the centre of the vehicle. Lift up the wiring loom with one hand and this goes around the other. Bada bing, and we sit that in place on our nice clean engine. That's why it pays to have clean engine oil. We just get all these started by hand, and because we lined it up fairly well by hand, they're probably just all going to start pretty easily, or not. Maybe they didn't all go down, maybe they were tighter than I thought and they're not there yet, but maybe it just needs to be lifted up, whatever. That's what it was. What would I know? Right, getting number 2 started. I'm going to go around the side. This is the problem with the 150s there. They take more time. See, up and down takes time, up and down. When I've got a Hilux here and it's stock standard, I am so happy. It's low, I can reach in, I'm in heaven. I actually like working on these engines. I think they're great, they're pretty straightforward to work on. The part I don't like is, yeah, in the 150, all this extra gear, see the intercooler pipes and stuff, and over the other side, all the extra heater pipe. The bloody thing gets in the way, right? So anyway, without going off topic, talking too much crap about other stuff, this is going to be the longest video ever. I talk about shortest videos, right? We want them all finger tight. Now, some people think to push that washer back that way, so then it allows room for it to twist, but my thoughts are actually to push it there so it provides support, right? there's more chance if it twists, right, that it's going to tear that off. But I'm not too fussed about that. This is mainly for the ease of fitting. Otherwise, they'd have a washer under and over, but you drop the other one. So you can put it there if you like, and that means when it twists, it might not hit there and might not break, or you can put it there for support, and hopefully because it's got the support, it doesn't go anywhere. Now what I want to show you is, I'm coming back to the middle there before I go any further, even though it's hard for me. I'm going to get over here and do it. This is what aligns the injectors, right? And it's a 95% thing. That's why you've got to keep watching, because you need to know the 100% thing, not 95. 95 won't get the job done. Am I a machine or what, mate? Non-stop for 2 hours, just talk. Can I have a drink? Mate, they better be happy with this. They better put some thumbs up on this one. What do you reckon?
You'll get at least one.
All right. At least one.
Johnny will give you one.
Johnny will give me one. Thanks, mate. Okay, so this is 95% of your alignment. Why do I say 95%? Well, in this case, in this car, I can tell you already, it's probably going to be 100%. Why? We know the injectors and return line hadn't been off before. We know the valve cover had been off. They bent the pipes, they wrecked the injectors, they checked the valve clearances unnecessarily. Customer paid for their vehicle to be wrecked. What we also know is the injectors, it was all the torque settings and everything. When we undid the injectors and the fuel lines, it felt like factory. Everything was clean, original. We know they hadn't been out. You can tell by the seats on the injectors. We haven't looked closely yet, but I can tell you it's all original. And that means they haven't messed up the alignment. And how they mess the alignment up is they don't do what we're doing now. They put these in, they put the clamps on, they tighten them down, and then they do this. They have trouble getting it aligned, therefore they've got to bend that pipe a little bit, or they get the bolt started. Once they get the bolt started and tighten it up, and that's all they do, they tighten it up, they don't use torque settings, it pulls the rail and it bends it on a slight angle. And then from the heat of the engine, it kind of molds into a new shape. And the problem they got is they didn't get the alignment right in the first place. They got the car back together. Well, sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't. There's other stories on that. But on the ones that they did, and it wasn't quite right, the point is when you go to put it back together, if you trust where that position that pipe is, if it's been worked on before, it may be out. Now the other factor is you've got to centralise the injectors. That's what I'm about to show you now, right? So see that bit of movement? I don't know if you can see that in the video. There's a bit of movement there. So what you've got to do, you've got to gently, slowly tighten that up while you're wiggling, so they'll stop in the centre point. So I want to do that with all of them, right? Just gently like that. I'm going to get in the way of the picture probably, but you know, you get that, right? See, because they do wiggle back and forth, and we want to make sure they're centre like that. Right, so we're happy like that. Now, so do we just whack it all back together? Not quite. Let's get the injector clamps. You remember those? Remember what we said? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we go to the car and we do the opposite, right? We didn't clean these. We don't need to. This is a quick slap bang job. Sorry, Gary. There's no point cleaning them. You want to clean them? Clean your engine oil. Oh, you did. That's why they're clean already, right? There we go. The damn phone's got a ring, doesn't it? You know, must be someone that, you know, someone that matters. Someone that matters. So I'll quickly just go and answer that. Give me a sec. Hang on a sec. Oh, come on. Yo. Yeah, that's it. It's morning. How you going, mate? Don't worry about it. I'll just come and see you the servo, get what you've got and what you haven't got. I won't get it. We'll get it later. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, cool. All right, no worries. See you then. Thanks, mate. Bye. It's even better if people listen, because I told them that yesterday. God, just listen. Don't ring me. I'll be there. What you've got, you got. What you haven't. Anyway, complaining again. All right, so 4, 3, 2... We've actually been pretty lucky that, you know, we didn't get too many phone calls at the moment. There's a lot of texts sitting there. And we'll have to get to those another day because we're busy, because we can't keep doing 5 people's jobs and get it all done at the same time. So we'll just have to fall behind for today and hopefully catch up again another day. So please understand when you order your parts, I've made it really clear what days I work, what times I work, and when to contact me for what, but it seems to be a lot of people don't get it. Parts day is Monday, please guys, Monday. So Monday from 9 AM. That means you need to shoot me a text message anytime after 8 AM, Melbourne time's good actually. Shoot me a text message saying your name, your vehicle details, what you want. We'll get it sorted in some text message. I'll send you a video to watch that, then you know what you want. So be prepared to watch a video. At the same time we'd have 10 or 15 minutes on the phone, me explaining it, you can watch the video. It's the same as ringing me. You know, you want to ring me, or so does everybody. The video, 10 people can be watching at once. I haven't got 10 of me, that's how we do it, why we do it that way. I'll then send you the text message, and if you're watching this, you've probably already done it. I'll send you the text message, there it is, you pay for it, I pack it and send it. If you pay Monday morning, usually it'll go by Monday afternoon. That may change, obviously. The business is growing, getting busier and busier, and I'm on my own at the moment, so there you go. Let's zip these clamps up. Just lightly, just to the first click. Right, we're not tightening anything down. I'm pretty confident that it's all going to be lined up, but how do we know? How do we know that that's right? Because I don't want to get the damn thing back together and you torque those down and then things are out of alignment. Because what happens then is, if we go and put this all back together now, and the alignment of these isn't good in the hole, we've seen vehicles come in with these nozzle holder seals cut. People have cut pieces out of them, all sorts. You're gonna have problems getting the pipes on. If it's a little bit tight, it's not bad. You can put a bit of moly coat on the nut. I've had that before where they're just rubbing a little bit and it just makes it a bit easy. It doesn't have to be far out to cause problems. This is what I'm telling you. So getting it perfect is ideal. Once you clamp those down, those seating washers are $6 each, okay? So we don't want to be spending 24 bucks because you clamped them down and then you got to reuse them. You got to do it all over again. Same as these return line gaskets, those 5, they're 13 bucks each. So it's going to cost you about 100 bucks if you do this and then go, oh crap, that's not aligned right, and you've got to redo it again. This is why it's important to watch these videos. So what we do, you would use your valve cover. I've got a spare check valve cover here and it's already pre-lubricated that slips on and off really easily. That's probably an old one that's got a crack in it or something like that, you know, but I'm not too sure. It's alright mate, just leave it, trust me. It's probably better if I do it on my own. Thanks for your offer, but I'm kind of like, got a system if you know what I mean. And it just works beautifully. Now this is the big tip here, right guys, are you listening? Do not push the cover down. The red caps are still on. When you push it down, you won't get it back off. You're going to cause yourself a lot of pain and suffering. I've said it in other videos, but other people didn't get it and they've caused those problems. Then you can come around here, look at those red caps and go dead set center. That one might be like, if 360 degrees was, you know, that's like, you know, half of a 1 degree. The back ones you can't even see because the EGR valve's in the way. That's another reason why it's good to do it at the same time. Mate, do you want to take a look with your eyes and tell me how close you think they are? And the other way you can do it is, if you want to double check it and you can't see because of the EGR valve, you get your mirror again and you come around here and you do it the reflection way, right? And I'm going spot on. If you can get your mirror into the position you want. Mate, those guys are bada boom, bada bing. And why are they bada bum, bada 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 bing, bada boom? Why are they like that? Bada bing, bada boom? Because nobody's worked on it before, right? Nobody's butchered this vehicle yet. So now what we're going to do, we're going to carefully tighter procedure to do these injector jobs is to fit all the pipes temporarily. Could you imagine it? Fitting the pipes while they're loose to align and then take all the, you're getting on contamination pipes and you know, this is clean, that's how you need to do it. But still, gently take this off. The reason I use my spare valve cover is so that we don't damage your seals by putting them on or off any more than we have to. But you know what? It's not going to matter if you put it on or off one more time. Just do it really slowly and gently and make sure you got that moly coat lube onto it. Now, take a guess what we do now. We need to get our magical torque wrench out, right, at 2 hours and 15 minutes. Torque wrench is coming out, and who knows the torque setting? For all the people that ask about the torque setting, yeah, the piece of paper and the diagram is not in there anymore because who needs a diagram when you've got this, right? All our red caps and stuff. Actually, I'm going to keep that set because I've got a purpose for those. Torque wrenching. We're going to get it out. We're going to set it on 22 Newton meters, guys. 22. I don't care if it's 23, thereabouts. I'd rather be over than under, but 22 is the magic number from Toyota. That's what they use, that's what we use, and we're both very successful in doing so. Then the 22, right? Let's do it. 22. 22 it is. You'll get a feel for when the 22 is going to be, and then you'll reposition yourself because you want to be on the move and holding the tool correctly when it clicks. Right, there it is, and I'll double check it like that. Right, bang, one. Okay. Because they are quite soft, these copper things, and it's worth double checking, and if it goes a bit more, that's fine. It's not usually going to, but if it does, then good, just go for it, alright? Okay, this one. Okay, the back one we're going to go over. Get that wiring loom out the way. Right, definitely all 4 injector clamps are clamped down. One of the most important parts of the job that they're done correctly. After you've done it, take another look at your torque wrench and make sure you had it set on the right setting. Bada bing. Now at the back there and the side ones have got to be 16, so we're going to drop down to 16. I don't care if it's 17, thereabouts, you know, whatever. Some people want to get too technical about it and argue about half a Newton metre or 2 Newton metres. Whatever, right? Same thing, might have been easier to do from the front. That's what I normally do, but I don't know, I was trying to stay out of your way. So here we go. Right, make sure the little button's pressed in and there it is. Right. Come on, mate. Okay, can I get one more out of that? Yep, good. That's it. One more, no? Yep, beautiful. Hopefully I can get back on. Oh, I'm gonna miss that. That's not nice. Don't like it when it's like that. Let's see what happens here. These things happen. Come on, get on there. Okay, here we go, hopefully. Yep, beautiful. Nothing wrong with triple checking. These, you know, you get a bit of a feel for them as well, I've got to say, when you've done a lot of them. But I'd still rather go by feel and double check and everything. Now, they were 16ers. Remember the one at the back? It drops down. Do you know the torque setting for the one on the back? 13. 13, very good. See, you had done injectors before. You have passed the test. Okay, we're going to try the short extension and the long 12mm. Check that that was 16. Yes, it was. Now we're dropping down to 13. I don't care if it's 14 or 15, thereabouts. Right, hope you get my picture right. It's what it is, mate, you know, it's just reality. Right, this one can be a little bit fiddly to get to and on and off and whatever, but you have to deal with that. It's about your tool selection. You'll rub around a little bit on the pipes. We're going to get it on this one maybe. No, not quite. Bugger. Hopefully we can get on, yep, hopefully we get it on this one, hang on. Yep, that's him. Come on, get off there, you bugger. Alright, okay. Good. Right, so that's our torque settings under the valve cover. Again, double check, 13, whatever, close enough. What do we say? 20 will do? No. Now, as I said, Bailey's got this online guide. I've seen it before. It says 25 Newton meters on everything. 25 Newton meters on the clamps, 25 Newton meters on these, 25 Newton meters on those, and then they put the pipes on and they're 25 as well. Completely under and over torqued. And then in their warranty conditions, it says you must use factory torque, procedures and specifications for your warranty. So they give you a guide that takes you outside what you're meant to do and tells you you've got to do what you're meant to do to have warranty. So they've led you to void your own warranty. Now I'm just doing a visual, having a look, making sure everything I'm happy looks okay, nothing's fallen in the engine, whatever. Okay, our injectors and fuel return line are in. Don't rush through this part, stop and have a think and go, well, is there anything that I've forgotten? Is there anything that I've forgotten? Before you go to the next step. No. Now we've got to clean the top surface of the head. Just because we did a quick clean before doesn't mean it was all ready to go. No. So here we come. I'm going to make sure all that's clean because we've been spinning dowels in there. Could have flicked oil out there. Could be a bit of fluff here or there. Sometimes I'll even wipe if there's a bit of fluff on top of the camshaft lobes. Look, nothing that's going to hurt anything, but I might just go, oh yeah, there was a bit of fluff there, bit of fluff there. No big deal, but let's do it. Let's do it, and let's give that a proper clean. Now I've done this side, I'm going to come around the front to do the other side. And always shake the rag off in case I've picked up any dirt or fluff or anything like that. And when you go along this side, sometimes they're dirty and you've got to make sure you push all the dirt off to the inlet, to the manifold side, not into the engine. I want it out, not in, if you get what I mean. Alright, so we're going to go along here, give that top surface a good clean. Right, make sure there's no bits of debris anywhere that matter, give it a good visual. I'm happy with that. Yeah, I could do better, but you know what? This is a rush job. No. Okay, that surface is clean. So what are we going to do next? Chuck the cover on? Well, I say we get our pipes ready. Let's get our pipes out, laid out, ready, because when we open the fuel system, we want to get it sealed up pretty quickly. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to lay them out on the bench over here. One, two. They don't have to be out of the bag as long as they're sort of ready, that we know where they're at, right? Now, so we've got our valve cover clean, our gaskets on, the seats are lubed up, their pipes are ready to go. We've got full nozzle holder seals sitting around somewhere. Bin's not there, but anyway. So we're going to get 4 nozzle holder seals out of the bag. Just make sure they're ready, because today in Melbourne it's winter, there's no dust, minimal of anything in the air. It's a good day for it, it's not windy and crazy. So what we're going to do now is, to put the valve cover on permanently, we do need to pull the caps off. So we're ready to pull the caps off? No, not quite. What we should do is put our 4 little dobs of grey. Remember I said little dobs. Now, I've got videos on this on YouTube saying these are the 4 little dobs, and there's videos. So that's why I always paid if you sort of stayed in the loop and watched all that stuff, because you know already. We don't want to make a lot of mess, just a little bit. So I'm just going to go and put tiniest little dobs at those places that I said, and I might even have just used a bit too much, but nowhere near as much as this other monkey. Crazy. We'll use more on that side more than anything, but that's about it, mate. That's all we need to do. Even less is more. Sometimes less is more, sometimes more is less. So we've got our RTV on, so we've got to use that pretty quick and get it all sealed on there. let's just think for a minute. Should we put our cover on? Have we forgotten anything? Everything's clean, lubed. We need to get those caps off to get it on. Our pipes are ready-ish. Our nozzle holder seals are ready-ish. If you're not ready, press pause. And then when you're ready to go to the next stage, press go again. So, the reason you wash your engine down before, because what if there was dirt and stuff in these plugs, and it's going to fall into these caps while we're fiddling around? Not so good, is it? So be aware that things need to be clean. Red caps are coming off. These are the red caps that if you could please send them back, then the next VIPs can use them. We obviously make a few caps here like we just made 4 now, but we need people to send them back so that we can keep helping more VIPs. Now we want to get this valve cover back on. No water dripping off that. It's always a bonus. We lift the loom up, we feed it over carefully without hitting the solenoids. You're not going to do this as smoothly as me, I've done a few. Alright, so, and that'll basically just fall on unless something's wrong. I should check actually, because I didn't put that gasket in place. Definitely all tucked in, isn't it? Yeah?
Correct.
I never trust anyone. Right, as soon as we sit that cover on, to give a little bit extra protection to our injector inlets, we sit our little verandas. We call these verandas, that's what they are for now. We don't push them all the way in. We're just going to sit them there. So if there's anything in the air, like me talking, spitting out a bit of COVID-19, we've veranded those inlets from anything that's in the air. Now we need our bolts for the valve cover. So we need a handful of bolts and nuts. I've got a handful of bolts and nuts, and the first thing I'm going to want after that is the impact driver with a medium length extension with a 10mm on the end. I'm going to get in here and sit all these in place. Doesn't matter which one's which, as long as the nuts are the nuts and the bolts are the bolts. Because of the dowels they sit on, the alignment, I've never had a problem starting these bolts with the impact driver. I'm not suggesting you do it. You should always make sure bolts are started before you put any power tool or anything anywhere near it. Okay? Gary, this is beautiful. I'd be really happy with this if I was you. I reckon, mate, you're going to be on some beers as soon as you get this car back and watch this video. Ho, ho, ho. What do you reckon, Johnny? Would you be pretty happy if this was your vehicle and it had a bit of a knock in it from someone causing contamination? You know, the funny thing is, this is what happens all the time. Oh, you know, and it's always caused by similar reasons, and then people end up back at Toyota under warranty, and that's how the 1 or 2 injectors getting replaced happens, and then things get worse because then they've worked on it again, and they've done part of the job because they based it all on a reading. So what we do is we just slowly, we're talking lightly on the trigger. Right, we just gently get things started, right? Lightly on the trigger. Right, make sure they're all started. We don't need a hammer or anything, right? It needs to be softly, evenly done in many passes, right? With the corners being done last, right? And even though we go to the corners, we're not tightening the corners down. We're going to tighten them down the least. I'm going to go back to here again. And I can tell you that it's not even anywhere near the torque setting yet, but we want to get a couple clicks going now. And then we're going to go ratchet after I put these back 2 bolts in, and then we're going to go, as soon as we've got the torque wrench out, we're going to go torque wrench, right? And it's going to be 9 Newton meters. Can I please have that uni joint, please, mate? So that I can rip this. Is this where I ripped my skin off, or was that the cover over the cover, wasn't it, that did that?
Cover over cover.
Which is still going, by the way. You can see the band, it's all ripped open, the blood, and it's all red and infected. We haven't stopped wash anything. We are running as good as live for you. You can see blood blisters and everything going on. Pretty nasty, that is. So be careful of that, guys. Alright, now could I please have the ratchet? No, the ratchet, please. Save a bit of time and nip them all by hand first. Good way to practice, to know your skills, to know where things are at, where they should be. Right, and just leave a little bit more to go. And then there's less re-manoeuvring with the torque wrench. You get a feel for what they should be by doing this, and then one day when you haven't got your torque wrench, when you're out bush and you're trying to help someone that had their car worked on by a butcher, you'll be able to go, well, I haven't got a torque wrench, but I'm quite confident doing these jobs without a torque wrench. I've never done that, but I'd be quite happy to do it for someone if they want to be the test guinea pig. And I'll still guarantee the seats don't leak for 120,000 Ks, and they'll last longer than that. I mean, I've got to put a limit on my guarantee. I think that's pretty good. Lifetime workmanship guarantee. So if I make a mistake, I'll pay for it. I don't care when it is. If it's a fact that, you know, I've made that mistake, then why should there be a limit on, if I made the mistake and it causes a problem 5 years later, then why should I get out of accepting responsibility for my mistake, right? That's the way I look at it. Fair's fair, right? So, yeah, just don't be taking it somewhere else and then trying to blame on me what I didn't do, you know? Okay, we're going to go for the torque wrench now. We're going to lose that uni joint again. Okay, and 9 Newton meters is the torque setting here. I don't care if it's 10, whatever. There's little crush tubes in the valve cover, so it doesn't really matter if you go 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's not really going to matter. So again, I prefer to leave the corners till last. See how it only moved a small amount? This is what I'm talking about learning your... And I purposely left a little bit for the torque wrench so that, you know, for the demonstration in the video. But it would have been fine if we didn't do this. But if we weren't doing this, I would have gone a little bit more. Because if I went all the way and then this didn't turn, you'd go, oh, see, he overtimed it with a ratchet, didn't he? No, he didn't. Right, now we'll get the two at the back and the valve cover's all torqued up. Then we can get the pipes back on, and I'd say we're home and hosed. That will be one of the quickest injector jobs on a 150 Prado in history that was done properly. That's the part you've got to include in there, that was done properly. If anyone else did one quicker, it's because they didn't take the pipes off. I need another extension, please, mate. They're not the short one, the next one up. Might be over on the King Chrome kit over there still, actually. Yeah, that's it. Can you push that on there, please? Yeah, like anyone that's done it quicker, mate, I'd put my money on. If anyone's done it quicker, they haven't done it this good. This is as quick as you can do it while still maintaining the quality. I'd say this is at 100% quality, mate. You know, there's nothing here that's been cut or not done that matters. Like you might say, oh, you didn't clean the clamps, but it doesn't matter. The clamps are clean anyway, right? What are we going to waste time cleaning clamps for? Right? Okay. Valve cover is torqued to specification. Do not let anyone work on this engine. Okay, we'll put the torque wrench down for a minute. I'll get that set on 32 for the fuel pipes in preparation. I want number 4 first. With the clamp installed correctly, you know which way the clamp goes. So we're going to need these tools, so get that ready. The crow's foot, where's the crow's foot hiding? Alright, there's the sort of tools we're going to need there. Number 4. Okay. Yeah, it's a bit confusing, trust me, when you haven't done a lot of them. It faces upwards, right? So if anyone wants to know, compare to your old fuel pipe, but the way to do it, number 4 fuel pipe, right? Right, that's the way it's going to go on the common rail, kind of like the bottom end. That's the bottom end there. The clamp goes on, it's in the bag, goes on facing upwards, and just crush it shut like that, all right? Right, now, what do? We come around here to number 4. Let me have a look at this camera, see if we're in the right spot as best as we can be. You can't really see what I'm doing anyway, but you can see what I'm doing, more or less. Back to this video. There's different videos, there's different detail in different videos. That's why I keep saying go and watch them all. So what we're going to do, we're going to take the cap off the common rail on number 4 and number 3 at the same time, because everything down here is clean anyway, and we're doing them together because we're doing them together. And then we're going to push nozzle holder seal number 4 in all the way till it's flush. Then we're going to feed the pipe into position with the cap still on. That way they can, if you're working on a dirty car, wouldn't matter, you know, bush mechanics. Then we're going to take the cap off at the last minute and pop it straight onto where it goes and get it started. Once it's started, we know it's safe, it can't touch anything. And then down the bottom here, it's a little bit more fiddly to get to that cap. So we're going to get that cap off with one hand, and we're going to guide with our index finger that pipe down to the common rail and spin that nut and get it started. And it's on, right? And number 4. Right, and the next thing I want to do before I do anything else is put that bolt from number 4 fuel clamp in place, so that in a minute when we nip it up, it's nipped up in the right place and it's not getting twisted around. Alright, so pretty safe to say that number 4 injector and common rails all sealed up. We've got the pipe sitting on there. We've got that clamp done up finger tight. A lot of other guys don't even refit them, they just throw them away, the bolt or the clamp or whatever. Right, now what we want is number 3 fuel pipe. We've already got the cap off. Number 3 fuel pipe's much easier to get in place. So what you do is you feed that one down past where the clamp is and sort of twist it. It's a bit fiddly, that's why you leave the caps on. You know, you can have a good day or a bad day putting these in place. It's actually better if you have the thing out towards the front of the clamp, and then it'll get down there, spin it around, and then underneath those 2 bolts with that end, with number 3, then bring it up past the 2 studs here to number 3 position. We're going to push that nozzle holder seal in till it's flush. We're going to pull that cap off. Sometimes they're blue, sometimes they're black, depends what batch of pipes you get. Got a lot of different pipes there. They're hard to get at the moment with COVID-19. Certainly proved to be some challenges getting pipes in any quantity, and of course the pricing isn't exciting either. We've tried to absorb much as we can with that. That's why we need things like these bits and pieces back, because we can only absorb these price changes, hoping that they're temporarily, if we don't have to spend money on more crowsfoots and stuff like that. Now, number 2 and 3, we're going to get number 2 cap off the common rail, not number 1. Okay, we'll get to this. Right, not number 1 yet. Cap off. Then we're going to sit number 2 in place as well. Same sort of thing. Put it down the same hole, spin it around, push number 2 nozzle holder seal in, take the cap off, straight onto the injector. Actually, I went a bit prematurely. You've got to get it in between the 2 studs first. What do you mean? What am I talking about? Okay, I'll tell you in a sec. Over here, it's got to be between the studs. Now down to the bottom, we've got the cap off the common rail. Now we've got the cap off the fuel. We're going to guide it down directly onto the common rail. We don't want it touching anything else. We don't know what dirty business has been going on down there, you know. You know, who knows whatever they did before, you know. We just want to go direct and clean. Right, they're all just sitting there finger tight. We don't put number 1 on yet because we find it easiest to torque up the rest first. But before we do that, importantly, we want to put the clamps in place on the fuel lines. We can't do that one yet. We can do this one. That's coming next. We just want to get these 2 clamps. We can only do 1 actually. So what we're going to do is, can you please grab me that 7mm spanner? I'm going to put this clamp between number, 2 and 3 fuel pipe. We're going to get that started. Can I please have the impact driver with a 10mm on it, please? I'm just going to hold, while I hold the pipes up against into the bracket, I'm just going to give these a light nip like that. Just enough so there's a bit of resistance there, right? To hold those in place. I want to get this clamp nipped up, just to hold that in place, because what can happen sometimes, pipes tend to want to have a bit of a twist or go places when you tighten them up, alright? So that holds those in place pretty much as best as possible, because we can't get this clamp on yet, because we can't do that till we've got number 1 pipe on, and we need to torque up number 2 fuel pipe before we put number 1 on, because number 1 gets in the way. So what we're going to do now is grab our torque wrench. We're going to double check. It's set on 32 Newton meters. Now we're getting through this part pretty quick, guys. This is the part you need to slow it down and press pause. I'm sure and hope you have and all that. Don't try and keep up with me, I'll tell you. Right? I know I'm slow, but don't try and keep up with me. Some people would think I'm slow. Some people think I'm fast. Some people think I talk too much. Well, good luck to you, you know. You want the information or not is what I keep saying. Lots of important information, every word of it, right? Okay, so you've got to keep that pressed in like that. Now we've got a little bit of tension on it. Let's see if we can get that into the position we want. Yeah. We want to keep that pressed in, remember? Okay. Now we're going to hit this hose, but it doesn't matter when it clicks, we'll reposition. Okay. That's good that it didn't click yet. Hopefully now we're in the clear. Yep, click before it hit anything. Beautiful. So we're going to get it on there. Make sure it's not hitting anything. Double check it. Moved a little bit, but that's about right. I might even turn that crow's foot around the other way to get it in a different position. I really like double, triple checking pipes because these are the sorts of things that people have trouble with. Not me. Right, I'm 100% happy with number 2 fuel pipe, which means we can whack number 1 fuel pipe on next. So I'll get the cap off the common rail for number 1. And my assistant can bring over number 1 fuel pipe. I'll push number 1 nozzle seal in flush all the way. Number 1 fuel pipe faces forwards, not backwards when you put it in place. Spin it around. Okay, blue cap off. Alright, as long as that's started, it can't go anywhere, touch anything. I'm not too fussed about that. Get that blue cap off the number 1 pipe down the bottom. Guys, don't get sucked in by watching this thinking it's easy, right? Some people are going to go, oh yeah. Some people are really mechanically apt and they're going to go, oh yeah, piece of cake. I've done stuff like that before. This is easy. And that's fine because everyone's different. Some people are going to go, geez, he makes it look easy. And you're going to go and do it thinking it was easy. The flat clamp and the 2 nuts, please, mate. And you're going to go, oh God, and you're going to be struggling and cursing and swearing and carrying on, you know what I mean? But this is getting to the stage of the job where I say we're safe, we can relax. It's the sort of place where I'd, you know, stop the video and it's time to go and have, you know, breakfast or lunch. I haven't eaten yet. Have you eaten?
Nope.
Nothing, mate. Yeah, exactly. So we'll be able to say we got an injector job on a 150 done by lunchtime without even eating. What a machine, huh? So we're getting that flat plate on, we're getting those nuts on, getting both those nuts started. So first thing I need here is the quarter drive with a short extension, please. It's like doctors and nurses, this is great. Yeah, quarter drive, mate. This is quarter drive. Where's the short wheel? This is it, that's it. So they're teaching you the basics still. Okay, we want to just get these nipped up because you can't really get in there with a impact driver and they're just going to over tighten it anyway. I'm not too fussed about the over tightening, you know, whatever. So we got that, we can get that one with our finger. Right, we're just going to, they're meant to be 5 Newton meters if you want to get your torque wrench onto it, guys, just nicely. Right, they're good. Actually, while I'm at it, I'll do this one at the back here so we don't forget. You do things in sets, guys, and then you don't forget stuff. So we're going to get down there and do the number 4 pipe clamp. Same deal, I think they're meant to be 5 Newton meters, but I don't really care. It's just a bolt on a damn clamp, and you know, as long as it's tight enough that it's not going anywhere, that's probably 10. It's not going to do any damage. It's alloy. Sorry, our light's gone off, so I'll just take that and pop it on the charger. Don't worry about another light. That's all right, mate. We've got enough light. Thank you. It's all good. I had to show you that because yeah,
That's the one charge.
that's how it's got to be done. Let's get these clamps on as well. There's marks there where they got to go, right in between the bends on the pipes. They kind of not slide. Check them each service, make sure they're not sliding. I'm happy with that. Don't over tighten them unless you need to, if you need to over tighten them to stop them sliding, then go ahead and over tighten them. All our clamps are done up. The only thing we haven't done is torque all the pipes except for number 2. So since we've got the torque wrench handy here with the right tools on it, we'll go and do, since we did number 2, we'll do number 1 because it's right next to it. Actually, that's the wrong way to do that. We're going to move this a little bit more out of the way. Right. You just got to, guys, you got to ignore some of all the crap that's in your way, because it does get, I used to find it quite frustrating, all the crap that you got to work around that's in your way. You just got to ignore it, right? It's like when you're driving these cars, it's like a rough track. You've just got to ignore all the washouts and all the rough parts. You pick the line where your tyres are going to go. You know that it's going to be clear underneath your vehicle, and you go for it. You know what I mean? You don't worry about what's. All right, number 1 fuel pipe torque. We'll get this stay out of the way. Let's get to number. I'm going fast on the because I know where it's at. It's gonna click off right about where this rubber hose hits. A little bit before it today. That's good. All right, that's good. So number 3 is done. On to number 4. You are not going to get these done this easy, guys. You're just not going to get it done this easy. They're a real pain. I used to struggle with them as well for many, many, many sets of injectors. Didn't click. Pipes can be quite soft as well, which is what's good about them, and they can surprise you where they want to, how far they want to go before they click. Right, so I just push that rubber hose that way if I need to, depending on the length of the extensions you got. You got to go short enough that you're not hitting in here, but long enough that you're not down there. It's hard to sometimes get a length right in the right area. Get rid of all the extensions. Put the crow's foot directly onto the torque wrench. Let's double check we're on the right torque setting still. Yep, 32. Look, 32, 33. If you're reusing pipes the second time, it's 35. And after that, 36. And I reckon you're pushing it if you use them 4 times. I'd go about 37. Any more than that, you could do damage to the pipes and you're crazy. Pipes can be reused on the same injectors only and up to 3 times. Okay. Get these done quickly. Good. Like I said, they're nice and soft, you know. These, again, you could probably do by hand. Right. I'll just be careful of those plugs. You probably can't even see what I'm doing. I'm probably in the way. Right, just be careful of all the plugs and wiring, you know. It is a bit of a fiddle, but that's how it is. Just make sure you don't get caught up on wires when you're, when you're going. Right. Those pipes are beautiful, guys. Everything's torqued up. We're safe and home. We're home and hosed, one would say. But don't go anywhere yet because you'll forget a few things yet. There you go, it rhymes. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Don't go yet, there's things you'll forget. I'm a poet, I didn't know it anyway. So okay, light's gone off, but you can still see what's going on, can't you? Still going, mate, nearly 3 hours. What a marathon injectors. What am I going to call this one? Marathon injectors. Okay, I hope you can see most of what's going on. What we'll do now is get the stay, okay? It's important to hang around because the order of what things go back on so you don't forget. We're going to do the most important things first. Okay, the bolt for the stay. No, that's that one. That'll be this one. Didn't we say it was the one with the 2 dots on it, right? Show you what I mean. Detailed videos, mate. So it's got 2 dots on it. You can watch earlier in the video, tell me if I was wrong, but pretty sure that was the one. Bring the stay back around so it's underneath. Get it in your 12mm deep reach, right? 12mm deep reach. Where's it gone? Come on, tools over here. Okay. Might as well bring the ratchet over so it's ready. Ratchet's there, 12mm deep reach. In through the bracket, into the manifold. Right. Bang. Alright. Let's tighten that up before we forget. Straight onto the ratchet that we brought over ready. And we're going to give that a good nip. Now the other end of that one, remember we loosened that off. You're going to need to press pause because it's going to take you a while if you know, this is if you're doing it while as we go. Remember, tools locked on, king chrome lock-on set, down under the wiring loom, down to the bottom. Like I said, sometimes this takes a long time to find and get onto, but I've been around. Guys, injector jobs used to take me more than a day, you know. Injectors and e-jar clean was a 2-day job at the start, definitely. So don't think there's something wrong with you if you don't get it done like this. For a long time it was a 2-day job. For a long time it was a day and a half to do it properly, right? Remember what I said, to do it properly. I've had a helper today, cleaning and handing me all sorts of things, right? And we've zipped through it, we've been ready for it, we've planned for it, mentally prepared for it, you know, it's like a marathon. Anyway, for a long time, it's still a good full day's work for someone that's done hundreds of these, starting early in the morning. Earlier than this, it's a full day's work with an e-jar clean and stuff like that. And when you've got problems, it goes into more than a day, and then manifold cleans 2 days. So don't think that all the jobs are quick slam bang, thank you ma'am like this. It's not really going to be the case. And you're not going to get this job done this quick unless you are Superman or make mistakes. Okay, so don't try and do it. That inlet manifold stays back on. We can refit that vacuum line. Right, on the bottom of that actuator there, you know, this one here, that you got to make sure it doesn't stick as well. That's good, right? Okay, any other fit plugs down there that we needed to plug in down deep? No, not really, not yet. So let's get this side plate back on. We'll call this the side plate, right? We'll call this the side plate. Again, we want that deep reach. Where did I just put that deep reach? Here it is. We're going to take some of the bolts out of it again so we don't lose them, because too many bolts and they'll go flying, right? This side plate cover thingamajig. Yeah, that'll do. We'll call it a thingamajig for this video. If you want to know other names of things, you need to watch other videos. As I just keep repeating myself, I know I need to do that sometimes because people don't listen and they don't comprehend. And I know it's a fact that you can only retain 10% of what you read and 10% of what you hear. So why am I going to repeat myself? Because I know that fact and I want you to get it. It's my job to educate you. There's not enough people that can do these jobs right. We've got a few people we can recommend that we know can do these jobs right. They come in a rating. When we're really confident that they can do what we can do, we call them 4x4 Diesel Workshop partners. If they get referred to as that, it means I'm saying I would take my car to them. I've got total belief and trust that they can do the job right. Now, we've got other places we could recommend where we kind of go, well, we think they can, but we're not sure yet. You know, we'll give them a try. We need to get them, you know, give them a run and see what happens. You know, they're kind of like in the interview phase, if you know what I mean. Just getting that bottom bolt. There's 3 12mm. Don't do any of them up until you got them all started. These ones particularly can cause a lot of grief if you try and nip any of them up before they're all in. Right, you can do torque settings if you want. What is it about? It's about 20 or 25, I don't know. I don't give a stuff, to be honest. I just do it nicely. I know how to do it by hand. If you don't know how to do it by hand, ask someone, look it up, because I don't know what it is. I can't remember. I've seen it.
Hand tight.
Yeah, just nicely. I'm putting the vacuum lines on, the yellow and the pink, so we don't forget them. Right, they're done. The top vacuum lines are done. Now we're going to put the cover over the cover. Do you remember the cover over the cover? Does anyone remember the cover over the cover? And the cover over the cover is clean. Sometimes they're all dirty and full of oil and whatever from oil leaks. In this case, it's all nice and clean, see? Beautiful, so you can go straight on. It wastes no time. Sometimes you've got to be aware if people have over-timed it. These little silver things can fall out or be loose or whatever. Just sit them back in place. if you've got time, you can glue them in if you like. Okay. Again, we just get that cover. Again, remember not to get caught up on any of these wires, right? So nice and slow, and it falls into place. I'm starting to feel like we're getting back to where this thing was, where it bit me. It's going to be the impact driver with that deep reach socket that's over here on the ratchet, please nurse. And then after that's going to be with the extension and the uni joint. Mate, is that nurse? Is that how you hand the tools to the doctor? You meant to hold that in, hand it to me, so I go boom, mate. Come on, come on. You haven't done nurse training, huh?
Not yet.
Oh no, I need the uni joint. I need the long extension, mate, the longer one. See? Alright, and a 10 mil, what do I need? The 10 mil, please. Thank you very much. This is where I get ripped open. Now, I wouldn't normally use this for this one, but it just needs to be nipped lightly. Do not over tighten those, that's what other people do. Okay, now the next important one, we'll put that bolt back for this wiring loom. But to get that back in place, we need to reopen these clips again, because what happens, the clips sometimes, because you're fiddling around with the wiring loom, which you saw me doing that, and it pops the clips shut. Now this one for the top of the EJR valve, let it get focus. Come on, you're going to focus. Focus in on that. See, that's the one that goes on top of the EJR. It's got two little lines facing opposite each other. Where does that go? That one goes right up here on top of the EJR valve at the back here. We need the little 12mm ratchet spanner to nip it up. Once we get it started and get it in by hand is the easiest way. Right, while we're at it, we'll just, I won't plug the injectors in yet in case we need to lift up the wiring loom to get those in. Tighten it up while we're at it though. Okay, thank you. These clamps here, I need a flat blade, the little yellow one please, nurse. Do you like being called nurse? You know, playing doctors and nurses. Can you please put those tools over there under the heater? Because what we need to do, we need to open up a couple of these clamps again. As I was saying, fiddling around, the wiring loom gets on top of them in the wrong spot and opens, so we just carefully open those up again. We've got a couple to open up. There's at least two that regularly close themselves on me. Alright, so we've got to get these open again. Come on. Making it fun for the video again. Just does not want to come out, this one. Come on. Here we go. We've got it this time. Now what you need to do with this one is sit this one there, sit that one there, and this one's got to go through the middle of the wiring loom backwards the same way it came out, which is usually not too bad, but it's making it fun for the video because we're on a roll here. Remember we said we want to get it done quickly and smoothly, so it's going to make it slowly and hardly. Okay, before we do those up, we want to make sure everything's sitting at the right length. We need to get this one that we took out of there, fed back through there, over the top, and around, and back through. And you hear it go in and lock in, that clip goes in there. We'll just rework that back like that again. Plug in the injectors carefully, always being careful of those wires. Don't have chips or tunes or anything there, because what they do, they rub through these wires because they've got piggyback plugs and they rub through these wires, do damage, and then you have problems. You want always the aftermarket stuff, right? So, right, all 4 injectors are plugged in. Just give this a bit of a rework again. Kind of like trying to get that to sit in the right spot before we plug it in. Clip done up, clip done up, clip done up. Like I said, don't forget this. Bring that around to the coolant temperature sensor. There's a clip here that goes into the timing cover. That's pretty well everything done over this side of the engine, guys. I think I'm finished on that milk crate. Right, milk, who said, no, I'm just joking. No milk crates here. No milk crates here. Can't use milk crates, can you? That'd be dangerous. Don't go standing on milk crates. Maximum step, 190 mil, 180 mil, something like that anyway. As you can see, guys, we're getting there. We need to get these fuel lines back out where they belong again, things like that, right? Remember we tucked them out of the way to sort of go, yeah, we need those out of the way, so it's time to get those back out. There's a little black plastic clip clamp that goes here. We'll get that back on. We can get the power steering back up near where it's meant to be. We could probably put that back in place now, actually. Let me think it through. Yep, we can. So what we'll do, you've got to be careful. There's a clamp down here for the power steering, which will be out of place. So we're going to put the power steering in, then we're going to put that clamp in. We're going to bring the intercooler pipe back there ready to go. We're going to pop, I should have done this first, but anyway, I thought I did because I did it in my mind. Put this clamp back on those two hoses so they're not wobbling around together, right? I just need a rag. Where did my black rag go? Here it is. Can I have the gasket for the throttle body, please, mate? Now you can reuse these gaskets all day long. Where you're going to have a problem with them is if you leave them loose, because when they leak and they blow heat or pressure through, it will damage the gasket and you'll need to replace it. But of course, if you've got our injector kit and you ask for the full gasket kit, you can of course get those gaskets if we've got them in stock. We've got a lot of things in our kit, and with COVID it's been some delays getting some things, and the long extension with the 12 mil. I'll get that. And the impact driver, please, nurse. Alright, we'll get those started. Normally I don't get these started by hand because it's harder than just putting it on the tool. Do you want me to show you what I mean? See, I'm fiddling around like this. It's easier to just go like that on the tool, like that, and you can give your bar, get it nice and straight like that. Bang, much easier. Just saying. Right, don't drop that down the intercooler. Someone else did that at the turbo side on someone's car, and then there was a bolt hitting on the turbo or something. Did you see that one? Did you ever see that? Somewhere on Facebook on some group somewhere, and there was a nut, and then they were arguing about whose fault it is. It's whoever dropped the nut down there, mate. It ain't no Toyota nut, it's whoever fitted the snorkel. Anyway, that's another story. Impact drive with no socket, please. And then we just go bang. How tight do they go? That tight. Bit extra, I reckon. This gun only goes to 40, and you should go over them and double check them. Right. I'm not going full noise, I'm just giving it a quick like that. I'm happy, that's done. Now what do we need? We need a little rubber booty wooty, and while someone's bringing the little rubber booty wooty over to me, a bit of booty, I'm going to get this wiring loom back out of here carefully where I tucked it away so it was out of the way. We're going to plug that in there, we're going to plug that in there, and we're going to plug that in there, we're going to plug that in there, and by now we should have a rubber booty woody. Come on, mate.
Booty.
Huh?
What's a rubber booty?
What's this, mate? Rubber booty woody.
Is that what it's called?
It is in this video. That's what it's called. It's called a rubber booty woody. And then we need a bit of aluminium pipey wipey. Yeah, mate. Lucky we've kept it clean for most of the video, really. Isn't it? Really? You can give that a wipe, guys. If you do wipe this, watch yourself. On these edges are razor sharp from where they've sort of machined or not machined them. And for those people that have asked the question that haven't watched the videos, do not push this all the way up. It's machined further than it needs to go. You just push it in as far as you need to. Get that bottom hose in as well. All right. And just give it a bit of a, yep. And then when it's sitting in the right place, your two bolts will just be lined up in the right spot. In this case, we've got to pull it back out again because I went in too far, because you know this is the problem people have, and you know you think that it might go in a bit further. Get them started, then we're going to hit it with the impact driver and the 12 mil, and while we're there we're just going to plug this plug on. Whenever you see a plug that can go back on, if it's not a problem, then right, then put it on. See, spitting all over the car. Alright, we can put this plug on now. We can put this plug on now. And we have to put this throttle body one on. You should put that on as soon as you do up the bolt so you don't forget it. But this is all the things we double check. I don't really care which way these clamps face. but it'd probably be better if they were facing the other way, but they're on now, so we're not going to worry about it. This one over here, remember we have to take this 10mm bolt out to sit this vacuum line in place. As I said during this video, this is not an E-jar clean or a plate or anything like that. And this is as quick as you could possibly do it. So I hope you can get the picture of what's involved in the job and all these cheap jobs. Let me just give you an example, right? You know, we have absolutely pumped it. We haven't done an E-jar clean. We haven't done anything really over and above, had any problems whatsoever. And we haven't done the compensation codes. We haven't done the pilot learn, but we've done everything else the most efficient way we know how. So it's like, I don't know, you know, these quick cheap jobs that people talk about. I don't know who's doing them and what they're doing them with. Pull this up, put the clamp on. Next thing I'll probably need is the impact driver with the 10mm on it. But I'll just get this happening first. Come on, I've got to make sure that's sitting where I want it to sit. Yeah, it's all right, but I want the hose to be up, but the hose wants to go down because there's that little lip further down. But the clamp's meant to be there because it's got a yellow mark. Tells you where it's meant to go. You don't want to over tighten it and make it burr out too much, but if you don't tighten them up enough, they do just slip down because it is boost pressure after all. Right. Make sure it's on correctly. No, I'm not happy with that actually. I'm not quite happy with that. At the back here, it's sitting a little bit low. It's not quite square. Whatever went wrong there, we'll just sort it out because, like I said, not happy Jan. It's not a not happy Jan kind of not happy, but just a little bit not happy. Here we go. I think that'll do it. See, people don't do that. They don't take a step back and go, no, I'm not happy with that. I need to get that a bit more so I'm happy. They don't know what happy is. Maybe their happy isn't happy enough. So it is boost pressure, so you've got to nip them nicely. I'm happy with that. It may slip down because, you know, they do that sometimes, but there's a what do you call it, a ridge there that it gets caught on, so it's not going to go any further. While we're at it, pop this map filter on, stick that down through there, right, put the map filter in place, twist it till it locks in, pop your vacuum line on at that side around the back there, push it on nicely without kinking the line too much. Vacuum line on the bottom here nicely, push the vacuum line in from the side. We better get this done up before we forget, eh? What is it with you and extensions? Yeah, normally I'd like them facing towards me, but whatever, you know, it doesn't really matter. I feel a bit uncut, really. But I'm not pulling it all off to change it next time. I didn't notice. Doesn't matter. There you go. Just goes to show I've showed somewhere where I don't care enough, because it's something that I suppose doesn't matter. Right, now these, again, you don't want to go so tight you've ripped into the rubber, but you don't want to have them loose either, alright? Sorry Gary, I put those around back to front. If you don't like it, you can get busy one day and swap them around. Sit those in place. Come on, get on there. Come on, get on there. What am I got it upside down? Good on you, you. Get an expert to come and help with that next time. Okay, I need a nut. One nut. This is where you're best using an extension and a socket so you don't drop the nut, because you know when you're trying to get a grip on the nut, this damn thing, come on. Is that doing your head in, that those clamps are facing around that way? It's doing my head in. Let's see how it goes for other people's OCD. I want to see in the comments. Be nice, but tell me, on the Marathon 150 injector job, which we're nowhere near finished yet, we still haven't refitted the windscreen shroud and the windscreen wipers and all that sort of stuff. Right, we'll get to that, but I don't think we're going to include it in the video. Maybe we should, because then it's just a complete 100%, and we'll even start the engine, yeah? Let's do that. Even if we start the engine before we put the compensation codes in to shorten the video a little bit, because we've got compensation code videos, we don't need to show you that. Make sure these are nice and firm, because I did have one come loose once. It was an amazing story. So you need to just check my other videos if you want to hear that story, because it's a pretty cool one. I think I've said it a couple of times in a couple of different videos. And start pumping, mate, right? Everything's secured, yep. No, there's that clamp on the fuel line that goes onto that fuel hose there. Right, so wobble everything around, make sure you're happy. I don't know why they make that go like that, not just there, but anyway, helps you work on the car because you can tuck it all out of the way, right? Anyway, give it a good pump. We normally do that sooner while we're working on the car as it gets back together. I'm pretty sure now that if we turn the key, or press the button in this case, the engine would start with no engine lights and it would run smooth and happy. Now, any parts left on the bench, it's always a bonus when there's not. Okay, so we can remove this towel out of the way. We'll check for clips that have been, now we haven't packed up any tools or cleaned anything. Check for any clips that have been released by accident. That one's a little bit funny, but well, this one looks a bit dodgy. Yep, this one's out. I don't know if that was us or not, if it was one of the other dodgy ones that was out. People need to stop pressing bloody clips. Right, this one I'm not happy with that, they can come out. See, we've got to fix other stuff while we're at it as well. Can't help ourselves. You do that too, yeah? Can't help yourself. I just don't get it. Just leave the damn things alone. Look, they're over here at the side too. I haven't even touched those ones, so it's definitely not me. They generally don't go in from like leaning on them or anything. It's people got to start pressing buttons in. Yeah, there's another one over here. There's another one over here, right? I'm over here in this corner, you guys. You can't see in the picture, but I've lifted up the end of the trim. Oh. They're the same sort of clips as those ones that go at the side of the windscreen shroud that I showed you earlier. Alright, so 3 hours and 12 minutes, mate. Order machine. Must be lunchtime, isn't it? Let me have a look.
Nearly.
It's 12 on the dot. There you go. Injectors installed, other than the windscreen, the compensation codes, the pilot learn, the wash down the engine, the road test. I mean, there's still a couple of hours in checks and finish off to go, but I just pumped that injector job for you, so I hope you can see what's involved. Now, you don't want to do it that quick. I've said this because you're going to make mistakes and forget things. Now, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to give you a few of the checks that I'll go over. Starting from in the engine. You should have done this before you got to this stage. We torque down the injectors. We put the return line, definitely. Nothing was in there, it was clean, RTV, the cover went on, the cover gasket was fitted in correctly, it was clean, there was no water dripping out, no dirt under those seals because that'll cause leaks. We put the cover on, torqued that down, three-way checks. We did it with a gun slowly, we did it with a 3/8 drive ratchet, we used the torque wrench, we put the pipes, they're all torqued up. If they didn't, the car's not going to start because it's not going to have fuel pressure, but I'm sure we did all the fuel pipes, we put all the clamps on, we tightened the 2 clamps there, we tightened the clamps here, around there, we put the stay back on, top and bottom bolts, this clip's there, that clip's there, the side's on, all the plugs are on, this plug gets forgotten, that plug gets forgotten, that plug at the front gets forgotten, all these plugs are on. I'm confident to hit the start button, mate. Do you mind opening the roller door for us so we can let the fumes go out? And I'll go and hit the start button. And we'll show people how they run without the compensation codes installed. Sit tight, guys. Alright, so if anybody wants a competition and wants to make a video and get it done better than that, quicker than that, I'm up for the challenge. It normally takes about 6 seconds if you start priming that fuel. As soon as you get the fuel system sealed up, give it a pump. Keep working, give it a pump. I didn't do that. I didn't pump it till a couple of minutes ago. So it took probably 10 seconds to start the car. and that's what really tests your battery over here, or over there more to the point, your main cranking battery, because you should be able to start the car with that fuel not being in it yet. So bada bing, there you go, you can see it running. We'll switch it off and complete the rest of the job. $91,000 kilometers, and this job had to be done because it had a knock in the engine from people removing fuel pipes, contamination. You know, that's a guesstimation, but it's the only reason these things happen, and that's what we see every time when it happens. Now, what do you want to see now? You want to see me try and put this shroud back on my own? Let's do that, right? Let's try and do that. Let's try and get that in the picture. Maximum information here, right? We're going to roll it live, so I'll get this back on. I just need a drink, guys. Give me a sec. Been going over 3 hours non-stop, mate. Woo! And yep, there's lots of messages there on the phone. It's mainly quiet except for the priorities. Had a couple of suppliers call to let me know about stock when it's arriving and stuff. A couple of pickups. As you would have seen, I spent very little time on those calls. That's what happens on Wednesday. Wednesday's work day. Please don't call me on Wednesday for anything. I'm trying to get stuff done. Right, now the best way to get these in is actually driver's side in first, if it works out. Right. This is where I said sometimes it's just easier to do it on your own, even if you have got a helper, because sometimes it's easier to have a helper, sometimes it's not. And this is a perfect case where it usually is easier to have a helper. But, I don't know, maybe it's just me and I've got my system what I'm used to, if you know what I mean, kind of thing. Right, so I've got the passenger side sitting in now. So driver's side, I should be able to sit it on the bottom. You just got to line it up to the bottom of the windscreen. Give it a little wiggle back and forward kind of thing a little bit. That's it. And when it's sitting in the right spot, the center hole will locate. Right, that's in. And then these will kind of just give it a bit of a... Oh no, they're already in position, eh? No, yeah. Oh no, they're not. No, they're not. Go over the other side and give it a jiggle. Bit of back and forth, guys. I'm sort of do it like this so you can see on your own. Right, come on. Come on, get in there. What's going on? So, of course, because it's the video thing, it's gonna... This side's in. There's like 3 little plastic clips on each side. The center ones are located. As I said, it's under there. And now they're all, I think they're all in. Yeah, that's it. So there's 1, 2, 3 at each side. That's in, it can't go anywhere. These side bits, they just sort of sit there. All right. They just kind of sit in position. Now these side bits, you need to slip up on the side of the windscreen first. Then there's a little corner bit that clips into the guard, and then there's 2 little lugs that go into the plastic of the shroud there. That one's fitted 100%. Gaza, 100% mate, this car. 100% on. Alright. We're going to slip that up, tuck it into the corner of the guard there, and bang, they're all 100%. Now we've got the 2 little clips. These can be a real pain to get in, right? They're like these ones that go on the, in those, what do you call it, right? So what I like to do is just take the top bit out. It gives you a little bit more control, and you can get lucky. Let's see. You kind of got to put it in the hole, but it won't kind of... Doesn't want to go in the hole though. And sometimes spraying CRC on them helps. I've done that in other videos. Like I said, don't just watch this video and think you're good to go. This is It's not a minimal information video, it's got some damn good information, but it skips a lot of the information because it's about getting it done quick, right? Now I've got other ones, you know, that are part 1, part 2, part 3, and pull it apart, so I'm having trouble getting that in. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to spray some, I happen to have WD-40 close by, so I've just put a little bit of that wet stuff on there just to get it to slip in, because it seems to work. Because you've got on the bottom of them, they've got a 4-way prong. It's like trying to fit a bar stool in a hole that's too small for it. You know what I mean? Like the 4 legs at the bottom are spread out on the bar stool for stability. It's just a dumb clip, right? They're a dumb design. I'm going to show you here, right? Can you see that? Like there's like 4 legs on it, the hole's small. So somehow you've got to try and press those shut to get it in the hole. Or you've got to be lucky that it sits over the hole, dead set square, and it just slips in. They're an absolute pain, they are. And this is some of the things that take time on the job, and you know, you don't even need them. That trim's not going anywhere. When the bonnet's shut, it's not going anywhere. What a dumb idea these clips are. It's so painful. Got one in, good. I'm going to put the center button into it till it's flush, done, okay. Over to the other side. We're going to go in without any lube this time and see what happens. I'm going to go in dry. Not usually a good outcome when you go in dry. Right? Always best to put some lube on first, but I'm going to give it a try because sometimes you got to do things the hard way, don't you? And then you end up going back getting some lube anyway. Quite often when I put the lube on, they go in straight away. So you know what, I'm over to this, I'm going to get the CRC this time. It's all lubed up, CRC on this one. If it goes in straight away, like it does quite a lot, you'll go, oh yeah, just lube it next time. Why does he do it without the lube? Because it works every time. Because it's happened quite a few times in videos and in practice. Not just fit, yeah, there it is, it's in. Didn't go in straight away, but certainly a lot more successful. And that clip's flush. Not that that trim could come out anyway, but it certainly can't come out now. Now we're going to wipe that greasy WD-40 CRC type stuff off our hands and gently lower the bonnet. We're going to grab our ratchet with our 14mm and get it ready. Oh, I thought I was finished on that milk crate. Milk crate? Who said milk crate? No, you can't use milk crates. That's dangerous. Okay, the short one should probably go over that side. And the long one should probably go over this side. Just sit them in a nice spot where you want them to be when they're not on. Grab your 2 nuts, get those started. Maybe, yeah, no, I think that's the right spot where they were. Just try and put them back where they were. If you're not happy, don't worry about it, just leave it. And when you're driving, if you think they're too high or too low, you can pop it off and as long as it's not going all the way down and hitting the arms, the main thing, I'd say that's a good position. I think they're both in a good position. What do you think, Johnny?
Beautiful.
I might have put some greasy marks on the bonnet. And Gary brought in the car so clean as well. Bloody fantastic. And don't forget your 2 clips. I did that once. I had a customer talking to me, of course, though, so I'll blame him. And I forgot to put the clips on, but as I was cleaning up after he left, I went, oh damn, the clips. So I texted him and I said, what do you want me to do? And I just sent them to him anyway, and he popped them on. He probably thinks I'm a clown. But anyway, that's another story and it's in other videos. Going to open that bonnet again. Physically, 100% that is this job complete. 100% complete. The engine runs. It's all 100% back together. What else can I tell you? That's the noisy roller door getting shut. What do we do now? We need to clean up all the tools, put those away. We need to take this, get it running, take it out, give the engine a wash down because we need to check for leaks and problems, and we need to do that while it's clean. So we take it out while it's cold, wash the engine down, give it a good clean up, blow it dry, Then we will enter the compensation codes. Then we will let it warm up for a while. Then we'll have to do the pilot learn. We'll complete the pilot learn. Then we'll go for a 20-kilometre road test, make sure everything's okay, no engine lights, while looking at the data every now and then, obviously when stopped, safely and all that. Then we'll bring it back and do a full inspection, make sure there's no leaks, no fuel leaks, any nuts and bolts, any visible bits and pieces missing, forgotten, and once again, go over the whole job in our head and looking at all the nuts and bolts, clamps, clips on the vehicle. And if there's any little bits of tweaking I can do, like I keep going like this, because that loom obviously got a bit, I don't think from us, but from the contamination guy. But we just rework these things back into position now. Another quick tip, because it didn't happen on this vehicle, if any of these clamps break and deteriorate, particularly on the 120s, they get a bit old and they break away, the bottom part of the clip's often in the hole. You can just put a zip tie through the clip, and if the whole clip's gone, I'll drill a little hole in the side of this cover here, so you can put a zip tie in that hole, out the hole at the top and around the wiring loom. It does need to be secured in the right place. I believe that's it. So if you absolutely love the video, please right now give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to put a comment there, because it's good to know we're headed down the right track. And of course you subscribe and you got the bell on. If I hadn't earned it before, I've certainly earned it now. So please subscribe, turn the bell on and share this information. We just want to help as many people as we can get it right the first time and understand why they're having problems with their quality vehicles, because these are quality vehicles. Understand when there's a problem, it's not the vehicle, it's the parts, the people that have worked on it, or the contamination type problem. I'll say it again, guys. Thanks for watching. Bada boom, bada bing. Catch ya.